Good afternoon and welcome to Emory Henry College Football on 90.7 WEHC, the voice of Southwest Virginia. Proud to join you once again just above the 𝘬𝙪𝙢𝙢 Grandstand and overlooking Fred Self Athletic Stadium's nice Wander Field for today's contest between the visiting Builders representing the Apprentice School and the host Wasps. Hello again, everyone. Josh Floyd bringing you the play-by-play commentary today for the second of three straight blue and gold home contests. Back to my right, bringing in his festival fall foliage attire and cider expertise, none other than color commentator Gary Lester. And Gary,
are we going to have an intro into it, Bill? Well, it sounded.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Emory Henry College Football on 90.7 WEHC, the voice of Southwest Virginia. We're proud to join you once again just above the 𝘬𝙢𝙢 Grandstand and overlooking Fred Self Athletic Stadium's nice Wander Field for today's contest between the visiting Builders representing the Apprentice School and the host Wasps. Hello again, everyone. Josh Floyd bringing you the play-by-play commentary for today for the second of three straight blue and gold home contest. Back to my right, bringing in his festival fall foliage attire and cider expertise is none other than color commentator Gary Lester. And Gary, to say last Saturday's contest against Bluefield University was disappointing might be the understatement of the year. The Wasps led for almost the entire game, but a 29-point fourth quarter, including 22 straight by the Rams over the final 5 minutes, turned what was appearing to be a 2-0 start into a harrowing 46-45 loss that left everyone with way more questions than answers.
Yeah, it sure did, Josh, and it was a gut-wrenching loss and one of those that you just hangs with you until you can get back out here on the field, and I know they're glad to be out here right now. And speaking of being out here right now, it's an official whiteout game for the Wasps today at Fred Self Stadium, and it kind of took place or happened by accident or because of the other team, which I think may be a first. Apprentice contacted Coach Newsom and said they needed to wear their dark uniforms because they had damage to their away white uniforms. And so when he went to the staff and asked them about, are you guys okay with us wearing white? Devon Morgan, the wide receiver coach, said, hey, let's have a whiteout game. Being from Virginia Tech, he's no stranger to, that type of a dress code ritual. So lo and behold, that's what we have, a whiteout game, and the Joe Matthews was notified. He put the word out, and we're in our white uniforms, and then the crowd is mostly in white.
Excellent. But today, Gary, the Wasps are going to have to get some quick answers against a vastly improved Apprentice team that went last Saturday and knocked off Brevard, and several prognosticators had picked Brevard to win the USA South. And so when you travel that far and you knock off a conference favorite, that gets major attention.
Well, I'll tell you what, it did get the Wasps' attention because when I talked to Coach Newsom earlier today, he's very concerned about this group. They're coming off of a tough loss, and it's always hard to get back up off the deck. But these Builders are not your average Builders, and you're right. They traveled all the way to Brevard and then beat a team in overtime that could very well win the USA South. This team also, Josh, scrimmaged North Carolina Wesleyan, and from what I saw of that scrimmage, they pretty much had won that game too. So this team is not your typical run-of-the-mill Apprentice School team. They're talented. They will challenge the Wasps on both sides of the ball. And it's not to say, I'm not saying that they have the same amount of talent that we saw last week with Bluefield, but they are talented. They're well coached. They've got a good coaching staff. And the Wasps better be ready to play today.
Yeah, Gary, coming into this after, you're 7 days removed from a very, very tough loss here. That's tough to rebound from, but, you've got to get back up and get back going pretty quickly. And I know it'd be interesting, Gary, when you had a chance to talk to Newsom, and we'll talk a lot about that in the pregame, what were some of the things that they really kind of focused on immediately last week, and what do they want to transition to today?
A good question. And Newsom, I think that was as upset as I've seen him probably since the Ferrum game that we lost late in that contest. But, he started to practice this week he talked to the boys, gave them kind of a brief speech, and he told them, he said, when bad things happen to you, people do one of two things. They stand in front of a window and point to other people for their problems and mistakes, or they stand in front of a mirror and they try to point to themselves about what they need to fix. And that was his speech. You can either stand in front of a window and point to other people for your mistakes or losses, or you can stand in front of the mirror and you can do some self-reflecting, some soul-searching, and you can correct the things that you can correct and not blame others. And so that kind of set the tone for the practice this week. So there was not one ball thrown, one tackle, or one play run until each of them did some soul-searching by standing in front of that mirror and figuring out what it was they could have done differently so that they would have had a victory instead of a 46-45 loss with a minute left. So it was a strange practice, but I think he got their attention with that speech.
Gary, you talked a little bit about improvement, and we talked about this for the last 2 weeks in this team. We talked about, there's one area, there's always things you can improve on, but Gary, what's the one main area? I think we know the answer to that, do we not?
Yeah. Oh, a lot of emphasis on special teams this week, Josh. We had 2 kickoff returns. One we fielded at the 1, fumbled at the 13. Another that we fielded 4 yards deep and managed only to get to the 8-yard line, set up great field position for them. And then the onside kick and the pressure punt. We punted one when we needed the most, 12 yards. So a lot of emphasis this week on special teams, particularly the onside kick, because we kind of just stood there almost like mannequins until they ran down and recovered the ball. So Newsom has put a lot of work on that this week, and I think that's going to be a much improved part of the game today. But so let's talking about, though, you mentioned Brevard. They've got a good football team, and from what I saw of the film or the tape, Apprentice gave them all they could handle and even more, but you saw some of that game too. So talk a little bit about what we've got in store for us here with Apprentice.
Yeah, I think first-year head coach Vincent Brown is in his 4th year with Apprentice overall. The Builders this year, they didn't play in the spring. So last week's win against Brevard, that was the first time they'd hit the field since November of 2019.
Wow.
So that was pretty impressive. And the Builders this year, one thing that we appreciate, so much of this team is, when there's a scheduling challenge, it always seems like Apprentice is there a phone call away to say, hey, we'll be happy to come and play the ODAC. And they're playing all 7 ODAC teams, 1 USA South, and with Brevard, and, of course, Emory Henry. Their opener against St. Sebastian was canceled due to COVID protocol from St. Sebastian. So last week was the first game in almost 2 years, and, boy, they did well. Almost 50% on 3rd and 4th downs. Where does that sound familiar there? They only gained 226, but most importantly, they held Brevard to 187 yards on 60 plays, held them to 10 rushing yards. That's what took a notice on my end. As you mentioned, they won overtime. And I'll talk a little bit more, but they really rallied several times against that team. And really, they just looked like they not only belonged, but they believed the whole time that they could win it. And by golly, when they got to overtime, they took it, they scored, made the defensive stand to win it. And that was a nice bus ride back for Coach Brown and this team. So you know what? That's pretty impressive of what they did in that. So, Gary, throwing it back to you, talk about some things that you've seen that the Builders do very well and some of the concerns. It's not easy to put it in a box, right?
No, it's not. And one thing, and you alluded to this, these guys believe they can win. They're no longer coming out to just show up. They believe they can win. But one of the things they do offensively that really is going to give the Wasps difficult time today is they disguise their offensive set. And that's very similar to what Hampton-Sydney does, and Bridgewater will do a little bit of it too. But what that means is that they have skilled players that can play tight end or they can play wide receivers. They got running backs that they can play tight end or running back or wide receiver. So they disguise their offensive set because you don't know where they're going to line up. Typically, you'll know, let's say Randolph-Macon, you'll know what set they got. If they've got 2 tight ends or so forth, or 2 running backs, you know how to set your defense. But when you don't know whether they're going to be with a tight end or they're going to be 4 wide outs, it makes it very difficult for the defense and Tommy Buzzo to call the set or get his people set up before the snap of the ball. So we're going to be waiting until they come out of the huddle, which means that it gives the advantage to the offense because we may be still moving around trying to figure out who we're going to cover. And that is one of the things they do. They disguise that offensive set really well.
Gary, on defense, there's no disguise. You've seen it. We've seen this throughout the years. We've seen this stacked defense, but there's not going to be any changes to that, right?
No, there's not. This is the third week in a row we've seen this odd front. They have a three-man front with 4 linebackers and 4 defensive backs, and you mentioned this. Bavard ran the ball for 10 yards last week on 26 carries. It is very hard to block. It's a defense we've seen from Sydney for quite a while. And what happens is they take away the running game. And a lot of emphasis this week on aggressive blocking. And I think you're going to see more of really the Wasps going after them rather than just setting up for zone, inside-outside zone. But if their defense can take away our running game, and we've said this over and over, if there's no running game, then there's no option. So all that leaves us is the pass. And we're not a very good drop-back passing team. So I think you're going to see the Wasps try to really do something to run the ball and get some yardage on this, and also to try and stay out of situations where they can bring the house on you.
Right.
But last week, for them to go down to Bavard and pull off that overtime victory, that's quite a feat. And Bavard is a very good football team, but what happened there? Well,
Apprentice started off strong, and then they gave up 14 in a row, and Brevard was driving. They were down inside the 10, looked like they were getting ready to go up 21-7, and then the freshman, Xavier Hunter, steps in front of a pass, telegraphed it, went 90 yards the other way, and all of a sudden, at that point, it was back and forth at that point. They stepped up. They had a chance to go ahead at halftime. They stumbled on a 4th down play, and you think, well, Brevard's going to get it back. Brevard then rallied they got 10 points in the final 4 minutes. So you think, okay, Brevard's got the momentum in overtime. But every time they had adversity, 3 times Apprentice rallied. Every time they ran some plays under center. I think you're going to see a lot of that today out of this Apprentice team. A lot of swing passes, a lot of screens.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of your traditional offensive looks, and I think sophomore quarterback Mason Tatum did a really good job. He stepped up in the pocket, made a great throw to Ricardo Corpus in the overtime that helped win the ball game. So, they rallied 3 different times in that game to not only come back and win or come back and tie it, but they won the ball game. And so it's a testament to that team not giving up on the other side when everything seemed to be going against them. And so, that's a great thing to see. But another thing going into this one, Gary, and you've seen this on the roster, a lot of youth on that side for Apprentice taking on a lot of Emory guys 3, 4th, and sometimes 5th year too.
Yeah, when you look at their lineup, they're starting 10 freshmen today, the Apprentice Builders are. They've got 4 of them on offense and 6 freshmen on defense. That's a lot of youth. And then you look at the rest of them, well, they've got 8 sophomores, Josh. And so you've got a total of 18 of the 22 players that are either a freshman or sophomore, and so that makes it pretty darn difficult. And I think that is an advantage for the Wasps because we have 7 starters on each side of the ball that are seniors. So you're going to have 22 and 23-year-olds playing against 18 and 19-year-olds, and that makes a lot of difference. We only have 2 of those 7 starters on each side that won't be with us next year, and that's 𝘢𝙤𝙢𝙢 and Gunnar Griffith. But that's an experienced football team that's going to be coming back next year.
Right.
Which I will say this real quick. We're going to have a lot of experience the next year, but, boy, 2 years out, we'd better do some recruiting to be moving into this Division II football.
Right.
But now I'd be interested in some of the comments. I know you had a chance to talk with the coach down there and kind of get his view and what he thinks of the Wasps and so forth. So what are some of the points that he made?
Really enjoyed talking to Coach Brown Thursday morning. That was a delight. Loved talking to Coach. And, it's probably one of my favorite interviews, right up there with Mike Clark and others, talking to the opposing coach. One of the things I asked him is when Brevard got that pick 6 and they rallied for 10 points in the final 4 minutes, what do you say as a coach when that happens? And he said, we just told our guys to keep composure. Football is a game of ebbs and flows. And he said, I still feel good that we had that 10-point lead, but he said, you can't take your foot off the gas pedal. He goes, and I was proud of our quarterback, Tatum, regaining composure. He threw a pick as we mentioned, that pick six, for Brevard late. And he said, we came there, we wanted to have a dogfight in a game, and our defense was ready to get back on the field, after overtime. And going back to the interception from Xavier, the 90-yard touchdown interception by Xavier Hunter, said he's a freshman. We talk about them that they're freshmen. He said he studies the game as if he's a junior or senior. He said when he made that play, he read it perfectly. He made a similar play previously in the practice and scrimmage, and he said once that happened, you knew he was going to take the distance, and he said that swung momentum, and we felt that greatly. You saw that on film. You take a 90-yard touchdown pass to stop that momentum from Brevard. That makes a big difference. And I think another thing that's going to make a big difference is they've got quite the weapon at place kicker. Jeremiah Morgan made 2 pressure-packed kicks from 47 and from 46. We saw him out here in the pregame. He's booting them home from 50, and it's actually ending up in the Emory student section. So he could kick it from 55 if need be. And when you've got a kicker like that, he said, Coach says it puts a smile on your face. And he says when everybody's doing team drills, he's over there by himself, booming kicks through the uprights, and he goes over and talks to him. And he said the guys love him. He said every time he gets out there and does something solid, he wants his team to be behind him, and they are. And a very eerie quote, Gary, and you can attest to this. He says, special teams will win you ball games. And how very apropos, and it will work the other way too as well. Well, flipping back over to Emory and Henry's side, continuing the conversation with Coach Newsom. I know Saturday night had to be tough for him, and a lot of what-ifs and whatnot, but rallied pretty well with a good practice this week, right?
Yeah, he did, and I thought that how he started the week, they practice on Sunday, and I thought the way he started the week was just outstanding with that little speech about either you're standing in front of a window pointing at others or you're taking this responsibility on yourself. And it just set the tone for the practice. And what made this one so bad, Josh, Coach told me, he said, we had so many self-inflicted wounds. He said it was like a loss with 1,000 cuts because they did so many things that kept Bluefield Rams, not to take anything away from them, but kept them in the game. And he said Sunday they were so glad to get back together and be with one another. It was like they were in mourning because they knew that game should have been theirs.
Right.
One of the things he brought up, and I thought you and I talked about this at the end of the game, he did call that timeout. And when he called the timeout, the Rams then decided we're going to kick it for a tie and go to overtime. We're going to go for 2, which caught him by surprise. But the timeout that most bothers him was the interception by Ivan Phillips, ran back for a touchdown, and then they called it down, that it was an incomplete pass. Well, one of the officials knew that it was a legitimate interception. So if they had that conversation, if he had called timeout and said, can you guys talk this over, then he could have possibly changed that call. They could have to an inverted whistle. And it would have still been the Wasp ball, but it would not have been their ball as a touchdown. So that really bothered him. He thought, I really let these guys down, and so that's where that ended up. But he did talk again about, they had a good week of practice. They set the tone Sunday. He's very concerned about this 3-3 stack that they're going to see today. And if they get you, Josh, in a long conversion down situation, second or third, they move up into that bear defense. We talked about that last year. They cover every gap, and then a lot of times they'll drop the safety down and they'll bring him. I think what you're going to see today, if you see that safety drop down, that tight end is wide open, and I look for them to be, going to their tight end and then that kind of a defensive set. But again, the offense bothers him too because it's so disguised, and they move people all over the field from different positions. So that's kind of that in a nutshell.
Well, we've got the Emory Henry marching band on the field. Let's go and dive into the starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting Builders from the Apprentice School, led by head coach Vincent Brown. As we talked about him at the beginning, sophomore quarterback Mason Tatum, 6'2", 205, from Ashburn, Virginia, threw for 173 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. The running back core, true freshman, will be number 6, Gabe Tejada, 5'8", 195 out of Orlando, Florida. And the other running back will be the sophomore, number 24, Tashant Banks, 5'9", 225 out of Newport News, Virginia. The wideouts, the sophomore will be number 7, Miles Goodman, 5'9", 175 out of Suffolk. And the other is number 8, Leland Gurley, true freshman, 5'8", 165 out of Ashburn, Virginia, had 71 receiving yards and a touchdown last week. On the front line, the junior Joey Mamano, 6'2", 255 out of Winchester, Virginia. The left guard is number 69, Thomas Hugas, true freshman, 6'3", 310 out of Shelby, North Carolina. The center, number 54, Blake Brazier, junior, 6'2", 270 out of Hampton, Virginia. The right guard is the freshman, number 73, Hayden Moody, 6'3", 285 out of Republic, Missouri. And the right tackle, number 64, the sophomore, Tyler Lacey, 6'2", 260 out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. And the tight end is the junior, number 4, Nick Pierce, 6', 215 out of Stafford, Virginia. On the defensive line, as we mentioned, that stacked defense. It'll be led by 2 freshman defensive ends, number 59, Rashard Phipps, 6', 245 out of Richmond, Virginia, and number 55, Denzel Porter, 6'2", 230 out of Dumfries, Virginia. The defensive tackle is number 56, a sophomore, Chandler Perry, 6'2", 290 out of Hampton, Virginia. The linebacking core will be number 45, the sophomore, Luke Jackson, 5'9", 230 out of Ravenswood, West Virginia. True freshman, number 11, Jaden Carthorne, 5'11", 210 out of Richmond, Virginia. The senior linebacker is number 10, Isaiah Washington, 6'1", 200 out of Dover, Delaware. And the other linebacker, the junior, number 9, Christian Walker, 6', 220 junior out of Newport News, Virginia. The cornerbacks, one quarterback, the sophomore, number 0, Quayshawn Jackson, 5'8", 165 out of Suffolk. And on the other end, number 23, true freshman, Aukie Harris, 5'10", 173 out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. We've talked about him in the pregame a lot. Very impressed with their free safety, the true freshman. He doesn't play like a freshman. Number 3, that's Xavier. They call him, nickname Buck Hunter, 5'9", 180 out of Mineral, Virginia. He had that big interception last week that got them going, did the Builders. And the strong safety is the junior, number 1, Paul Massey Jr., 5'8", 185 out of Waldorf, Maryland. And we've talked about this threat on special teams. Handling the punting and the place kicking for the Builders will be number 49, the sophomore, Jeremiah Morgan, 6'1", 150 out of Portsmouth, Virginia. And handling the returns will be a freshman, number 34, Amari Thomas, 5'8", 180 out of Apopka, Florida, as well as we mentioned Leland Gurley, number 8, the freshman out of Ashburn, Virginia. And that's the starting lineup for the Builders. And now for Emory and Henry, here's Gary.
All right, Josh, thank you. Well, we'll start the offense again, and let's look at that offensive line. It's a seasoned and veteran offensive line. The tackles, number 63, Sean Watkins is a junior at 6'4", 250 pounds out of Bristol, Virginia High. The right tackle, number 79, Ricky Dotson is a junior. Also, he's 6'7", 315 out of Front Royal, Virginia. The guards, left guard, number 72, Parker Coe is a senior. He's 6'3", 270 out of Wytheville. And the right guard, number 57, O.P. Peterson, a senior, 6'1", 310 out of Forest, Virginia. And the center, number 56, Preston Robertson, he's a senior, 6'2", 310 out of Mocksville, North Carolina. And Josh, like I said, all of these guys are back next year. At the wide receivers, we have 3 of them. We have 3 excellent wide receivers. Number 4, Elijah Rice, leads that receivers corps. He has so far this year 159 yards of receptions on 10 receptions, and he's ranked 8th nationally with that number. The other wide receivers, number 2, Kashawn Cozy. He is a senior, 5'4", 335 pounds out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And the final wide receiver, number 16, Gunnar Griffith. It's in his 5th year. He's 5'11", 175 out of Bluff City, Tennessee. The tight end, number 48, Zach Venhorst, is a junior. He's 6'1", 240 out of Lynchburg, Virginia. And then the running back, number 23, Devontae Jordan, is senior, 5'9", 190 pounds out of Bassett, Virginia. And Devontae is ranked 11th nationally for rushing yards with 258 so far. He's had 2 games. He's broken the century mark, and his total of rushes has been 50 attempts. And finally, the quarterback, number 7, Kyle Short, a sophomore, 5'11", 185 pounds out of Lebanon, Ohio. Kyle currently ranked 17th nationally with 6 touchdown passes so far. So that's our offense, and now let's take a look at the defense. At the defensive ends, number 9, Jay Swagmeyer. He's a junior, 6'4", 250 pounds out of Orlando, Florida. At the other defensive end, number 97, DeAndre Shambliss. He's that 5th-year senior, 6 foot, 230 pounds out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. The tackles, number 93, Rashad Ellis, is a junior, 𝘢𝙤𝙢𝙪 out of Tappahannock, Virginia, and number 99, Donovan Penix, a senior, 5'10", 240 out of Eden, North Carolina. At the linebacking core, great game last week by Brett Butler, number 20, a senior, 5'8", 210 out of Roanoke. He's a transfer from Concord University. And the other linebacker, number 27, Ivan Phillips, a senior. He's 6'1", 210 out of Kingsport, Tennessee. And Josh, rounding out this defense, let's look at the secondary. The two corners are number 1, Jalen Crimes, a senior out of Sharps, Virginia, and number 3, Dalton Wilson out of Clinton, Tennessee. The free safety, number 35, Addison Nicely, is a sophomore. It's out of Mount Crawford, Virginia. The strong safety is number 11, T.J. Payne out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And the weak side safety is Zacquees Law, number 8. He's out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And rounding out the WASP starting lineup here, the special teams, the kickers, number 34, Cameron Jones. The punting will be handled by number 49, Garrett Morgan. The holders, number 10, Cade Snodderly. The long snappers, number 42, Seth Stanley. And the kick return, Elijah Rice and Devontae Jordan. And believe me, I think we'll see a difference there this week. And then the punt returns will be number 4, Elijah Rice. And that's the WASP lineup.
As the Emory Henry marching band, we will send it back here to the WASP studio, the WEHC studios momentarily here for the national anthem. Before we do so, again, we want to thank our underwriters, and we'll probably join them after the break as well. But before we do that and get into our underwriters, the Emory Henry Band is ready for the national anthem. So we'll send it back to WEHC Studios, take this 2-minute timeout, and we'll rejoin you with our underwriters' keys to the game and the contest today between the Apprentice School and Emory Henry. You're listening to Emory Henry College Football on 90.7 WEHC, the voice of Southwest Virginia. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go about 45 seconds. Be good. Thank you. Thanks, Bill. Actually, Bill, we can come back anytime you're ready. Back here at Fred Self Athletic Stadium's Nice Wander Field here on the campus of Emory Henry College. Again, just a wonderful rendition of the national anthem by the Emory Henry College marching band. Before we get into the keys to the game, Gary, let's thank our underwriters for making the broadcast possible.
Yeah, Emory Henry football is brought to you and supported by Tumbling Creek Cider Company. They're open daily in the Spring House at 112 Court Street, Northeast Abingdon, and online at Tumbling Creek Cider Company. Tumbling Creek Cider Company, serving the spirit of our community.
And Emory Henry football is underwritten by Snow's Fine Meats and Provisions, a neighborhood butcher shop in downtown Abingdon. Open Tuesday through Saturday and online at snowsfinemeats.com, 160 East Main Street, Abingdon. Snow's Fine Meats, bringing the old-fashioned butcher shop experience to your table.
And we're also brought to you by First Bank and Trust. They offer mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and much, much more. They've been serving the community with free checking since 1979. They're a member of the FDIC, and you can visit them on the web at firstbank.com.
Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Food City, the food experts, locally owned and operated for more than 60 years with 130 convenient locations. Food City is proud to support Emory Henry College Football.
And we're also supported by Greco's, proud to bring the taste of our home to yours, serving Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee with locations in Abingdon and Johnson City. Menu and more information at greco.com. Eat differently, eat at Greco's.
And finally, we're brought to you by the Bank of Marion and all of their hometown community branches. The home leader, Bank of Marion. Well, Gary, as the two teams come out here at the ampersand getting ready for the toss, what's Emory and Henry got to do to get back to the winning style today?
Yeah, well, we need to get back in a hurry. They need a rushing attack today. There was none with Vavard, and you saw what happened with them. And this team is plenty capable of shutting down the run. They also need to stay out of these long conversion downs and to be successful. Last week, Josh, we were 1 for 8 in the second half, and we really killed our defense by not staying on the field. Finally, is the special teams. No meltdowns like we had last week, and that surely would fix some of that. Defensively, it's get off the field. You can't play 94 plays and be effective, and that's what we tried to do last week. Then the other thing is recognize our keys as early as possible when they come out of the huddle. And finally, this is a sophomore quarterback. He's good. He knows what he's doing, but we need to put some pressure on him because he will make mistakes with that. So that's our keys. What about Apprentice School, Josh?
I think it's going to be screens and flares. I think, for this team, the Apprentice School did a really good job of disguising those last week against Brevard. I think they might have went to those a little bit too often. Brevard got used to them in the second half, but I don't think the Builders are going to get away from that. I think they should probably run those at least 5 or 10 times a game, especially if Emory's going to be aggressive up front. That's a great way to counter. And like Emory, I think the Builders have got to find a ground game as well. They can't go 50% on third and fourth downs again. Mathematically, it just doesn't happen over multiple games. So I expect the Builders to establish the run, first down, maybe even second down. So I think you're going to see some under center snaps as well. And I think one of the things, too, you talk about the Emory and Henry hard hats on defense, Gary. Yeah. They're not the only one that wear the hard hats. Apprentice has something called the 24K turnover hard hats. And in 2019, they had 26 turnovers, and that's what led to their 6-3 record. They got one last Saturday, and they lost the turnover battle. But this is an aggressive defense. They're going to look to get turnovers. So I expect to be, you're going to have both defenses making some very aggressive plays early and often.
Well, one thing I think you're going to see by this Apprentice School Builders is they're going to mug you up front and put 8 men in the gaps, and they like to do that even though they run primarily a 3-3 stack defense.
The Wasps won the toss. They have deferred to the second half. The Builders will be going left to right from the home side. Jones is set kick back deep for the Builders. It'll be Thomas and Gertie, and the football is in the air. Good kick by Jones. It sends Gertie back to the 1-yard line. Up to the 5, tries to cross field to the 10, and then he's hit right there and dropped. Nice coverage down there by Emory and Henry. Logan Tomlinson was the first man there, and only a gain back for, actually Thomas, I should say, only a gain up to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Logan, number 50, had a good special teams game. He was instrumental in several tackles last week, and it looks like he's starting off where he left off.
So the Builders will start 1st and 10 back at their own 10-yard line. And if you're an Emory and Henry fan, you got to like that early special teams play. That's been a concern, over the first 2 games so far. Builders will come out 5 wide. They may have looked at some Bluefield field last week. They'll go 5 wide on 1st and 10. Wasps did struggle with this last week. They'll put a man in motion. Now the line up to the left side is Banks. It'll be Tatum in the gun on 1st and 10. They give us to Banks off left tackle. Dives forward, second effort, and a nice run on first down up to the 14, just off left tackle there, a gain of 4.
Josh, the Builders set 3 receivers to the right side and 1 up to the left, and we're up there on that, up in his grill on that man-to-man coverage. I expect if we see much of that, you're going to see some verticals on our corners.
Actually, that gain was to Lawrence Reen. It'll be a gain of 4. Bring up second and about 6 for the Builders at their own 14. They'll put a man in motion as Reed to the left side. Empty backfield for Tatum on 2nd and 6. Tatum looks left. It's going to be the inside screen. Immediately dropping the receiver on the play for no gain was Ivan Phillips. The Wasps saw that screen happening all the way. It's no gain, brings up 3rd and 6.
The Wasps worked a lot on these screens this week, Josh, and they're trying to key these backs with their linebackers and get up underneath the offensive line. And that time Ivan Phillips was right there.
Brings up 3rd and 6 for the Builders at their 14. Again, they'll go empty set. They've got 4 wide receivers. Tatum by himself back there. Wasps with 4 down linemen on 3rd and 6. Tatum drops back. Quick throw. Now he's going to take off and run with it. Tries to get away from Butler. Second effort, and he's got the first down. Twisting forward was Tatum. He needed 6. He got about 6 1/4, and that'll move the chains.
Well, he pulled it and did the right thing there because there was nobody open, and that was kind of that forced out of the pocket there not because of the rush, but because there's just no one open, and he picks up the first down. They're going to be wide open today, as you can see, 4 and 5 wide receivers. And again, Josh, they don't have to substitute to do that. They're doing it with who they've got on the field.
So the first down pickup by the Builders to the 21, again on 3rd down. Pistol formation for Tatum on 1st and 10 from the 21. They'll put Goodman in motion to the left side. The give is going to be to the running back off the right side. Trying to find a hole was the running back up to about the 23-yard line. It'll be a gain of actually a pretty good job of getting 2 yards on that play as the interior of the Wasp line, led by Rasheed Ellis, makes the stop.
Yeah, Rasheed Ellis and Donovan Penix making the initial contact there and setting up a 2nd and long now for the Builders.
Gabe Tejada there with the rush for the Builders. And again, the Builders wanted to run the football today. He was their leading carrier last week, but just 48 yards. So the Builders trying to get some ground offense here. They'll have it 2nd and 8. We talked about Tatum going under center. He goes under center here. Single setback behind him. Bunch receivers to the right side on 2nd and 8. Tatum under center. The give right up the middle. No nonsense run on the left side. Short gain up to about the 25-yard line. Stopped by Brent Butler. A gain on the play of 2 by Gabe Tejada brings up 3rd and 6. And Gary, it's refreshing. We got used to that under center. You don't see a lot of the under center plays there, but that time Tatum going under center just give it to the single setback.
And I don't think defenses are used to it. It's harder to find the ball when you're up under center. There's no doubt about that.
3rd and 6 for the Builders. They picked it up a little while ago. This time they'll go 4 wide. Tatum in the pistol with the back behind him on 3rd down and 6. Emory shows blitz off the right side. Tatum drops back, looks left. Pump fake, throws over the receiver. He was looking for Goodman, but well covered out there on that was Dalton and Law. It sails high at the 40-yard line, incomplete.
Yeah, they tried to flood that zone over there, and there were plenty of Wasps around, and he didn't really have a place to put it other than throw it out of bounds.
So after a conversion on 3rd down initially, the Wasps hold on this set of 3rd down, and the Wasps should get pretty good field position, albeit Morgan will try to negate that. And Morgan's an excellent kicker and punter for this Builders team. Elijah Rice stands at his own 30 for Emory. Morgan set to kick. Gunners for either side for the Builders. High snap. Morgan does a good job of getting it down and getting it away. Boy, give him extra points for that. Rice makes the fair catch at the 43. I don't know how in the world Donovan Penix didn't block that, but a great job by Morgan to corral that and to get a pretty decent kick away in duress.
Well, Josh, the Wasps worked quite a bit this week on some punt blocks, so they feel like they can get to this guy, and almost did.
Yeah, 35 yards, and I tell you, Morgan did a good job of getting that away. Didn't look good at the beginning. So the Wasps with pretty good field position to start their first drive, 11:34 to go in the first. They start from their 44. 3 receivers, 4 short, who's in the gun. Play action, short pump fake. Pump fake's on the hitch and go, and he and Griffith miscommunication a little bit at the 45. Griffin broke off his route, and the ball sails out of bounds.
Yeah, he broke off his route, and then the corner forced him to the sideline. He couldn't get up the field, so just kind of had to throw that. It looks like it was thrown away, but actually the receiver stopped on Kyle Short.
2nd and 10 now for the Wasps at the 44. 3 receivers set. It'll be Short in the gun. Jordan to his right. Van Horst is the tight end. 3 down linemen for the Builders. They bring a linebacker. They give us to Jordan off left tackle. Dives forward up to the 45 and up to the 47-yard line. It'll be a gain of about 3 for the senior. Tackle on the play by Massey Jr. for Apprentice. Going to bring up 3rd and long, 3rd and 7, Gary, and this is where you don't want to be.
No, you don't want to be. And that time right there, they had 7 men up on the line of scrimmage, and they had every gap filled. And this time, looks like they may be having the same defense. No, they back out this time.
Short in the gun on 3rd and 7. 3 receiver set from the 47. Short gets the snap. Play action. Throws out in the flat, and the pass is intercepted. Going the other way for Apprentice. To the 30, to the 20. He'll take it to the house. It's a touchdown for, I believe, I'm trying to see who that touchdown there was. The interception at about the 45-yard line, and taking it back to the house was 𝘽𝙪𝙤𝙢𝙀 Harris, and Harris baited that route beautifully. He waited for the pass out there at the 47, and once Harris stepped in, it was nobody in front of him, and for the second straight week, the Builders have a pick 6, and they lead at 6-0.
Well, and Josh, that pass was telegraphed, and he timed it perfectly to step in front of 𝘽𝙪𝙤.
Immediately out for the PAT, almost blocked. Morgan, like a knuckleball, it goes through, and the kick is good. And the Builders, we talked about that 24K turnover hats, and boy, they show it there as Harris steps in front, runs right down the numbers untouched, and just like that, the Builders score immediately out for the PAT.
And Josh, I don't know. Looks like a little bit of the cobwebs are still not out for the Wasps, and they that pass was, like I said, telegraphed. You could see it coming before it left his hand, and the defensive back just baited Kyle Short into throwing it into the flat.
It's one of those passes when you see it up here, you're going. If you're an Emory fan, you're going, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
you know, you're saying that the whole
throw
time.
That.
And good job by Harris. He broke on the ball. It was not too far off of 𝘽𝙪𝙤. And very similar to last week in this fashion. The Builders jump in front of a route, go untouched down the sideline. This time it's Harris. And the Builders find themselves up 7-0.
Yeah, and it wasn't a bad pass, Josh. It wasn't like it was behind 𝘽𝙪𝙤. Harris just stepped right in front of him.
So the Builders set to kick off to the Wasps, who find themselves down early. Morgan set to kick. Good kick. Rice will return it at the 11. Rice to the 20. Cuts across field to the 25. Up to the 30. Good. Sideline 35, 40. Rice stays in bounds, and then he's knocked out of bounds by the kicker, by Morgan at the 42-yard line. That's the type of return that Newsom wants to see.
Yeah, and there was a lot of good blocks that time, and, they were – Elijah Rice set some of those blocks up with his moves, but a lot of staying on the defenders to lengthen that return gives the Wasps great field position now at the 42-yard line.
52 yards was the official interception return by Harris. So the Wasps start at the 42, about where they started their last drive. Short will be in the gun on 1st and 10. They'll try Jordan off the right tackle. Boy, nothing doing there. Maybe a yard on the play. Christian Walker was waiting for Jordan once he got the handoff at the 42.
And, Josh, when you throw an interception and a pick 6 in particular early in the game, you get a little bit unsettled as a quarterback, and this is where you really need your running game to kind of settle you down and settle the team down.
They'll actually give Jordan no gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10 from the 42. Short in the gun with 3 wide on 2nd and 10. They're going to try Jordan off left tackle. Spin moves, gets away from one defender. Can't get away from the second Builder defender. That's Chandler Perry. It'll be a gain of 3. And again, Emory in 3rd and long, 3rd and 7 from the 45.
Yep. And, that time they had 8 men up in the line of scrimmage. This time they did that last time on 2nd down. They backed out in 3rd down. It looks like they're going to do the same thing here. 4
receivers for the Wasps on 3rd and 7. Short will be in the pistol. Jordan is the deep back. 3 down linemen for the Builders. They'll drop 8 in coverage. 1 deep safety at the 43. Short ready for the snap. 9:30 to go, first quarter. Play action. Short throws to the middle. Throws short, and short of the first down. The pass is caught by Justice Marshall, but well short of the first down as he caught it at the 48. There's 𝘽𝙪𝙤𝙀 Harris again making the stop, and the Wasps look like they're going to go 3 and out.
Yep, 3 and out. And, Josh, this Apprentice defense is, we said, they're talented. They're going to challenge them, and they're quick. They you can see them flying to the ball right now. But the Wasps come out again without a 3rd down conversion.
So it'll be Morgan for his first punt of the day on 4th down and 4 from the 48. So the Wasps have had 2 pretty good field position starts, and they've not been able to do anything with it. No rush on Morgan. Has time to kick it, and boy, does he ever. It's going to drive Hunter back inside the 5 and then bounces into the end zone for the touchback. So it's a 52-yarder, but on the net it will go as 32. And with 8:41 to go in the first quarter, Builders defensively, they've scored a defensive touchdown. They force a 3-and-out. They'll start 1st and 10 from their own 20.
Not a good start for the Wasp, and we talked about in the opening that you got to get up off the deck and play this team. This is not your regular, normal, run-of-the-mill Apprentice Builders football team. They're well coached, and they've got some talent.
Yeah, they do, and they are unfazed as well. This time they'll go to the gun. They flood the receivers with 4 on the left side, 1 single receiver right on 1st and 10. Now they'll have 1 back to the left side of Tatum, who's in the gun. Tatum, it's going to be the draw. Off right tackle, diving forward was Reed, and the Wasps were there to recover. They tried to delay handoff there, and it goes for a loss back to the 19.
And, Josh, you see what they're doing. They have the running back as one of the 4 receivers, and they do have patterns out of that, but then they bring him back and put him at running back, and they change it. So they can go with 4 wide on one side or come bring him back to a running back, or they can put him on the other side. It's a very difficult offense to strategize against because you don't know what they're going to set up and what set they're in.
Nice job by Butler there to read that delay, and it'll be a draw, I should say, back to the 19. This time they flood the 4 receivers to the right, single receiver left for Tatum on 2nd and 11. Tatum will throw, looks right, under pressure. Chasing him from behind and tripping him from behind was number 97. That was 𝘢𝙪𝙢𝙢𝙪. Tatum did get a gain up to the 24, but nice closing speed from the 5th-year senior out of Chattanooga.
Boy, wasn't it, though? The Wasps lost contain on that right side up there, and 𝘢𝙪𝙢𝙢 just showed us that little speed for the old man there.
3rd down and about 6, and this is the third down about this distance for the Builders. They're 1 for 2 in the game so far. Empty backfield, 5 wide for Tatum. He's in the gun on 3rd and about 6. Tatum looks right. They're looking for the screen. The Wasps have it read perfectly, and Tatum, dangerous throw in the middle of the field. Intended receiver was 𝘢𝙪𝙤, but there was Addison nicely. He almost made the pick at the 25.
Several Wasps in the area, and the Wasps have got this sniffed out pretty well in these screens, but they do run a lot of screens. So
yeah, we mentioned that at the beginning, and the Wasps have done a good job with them so far. So the Emory defense forces a 3-and-out, and again, the Wasps should get good field position out of this. Last time, Morgan almost had the kick blocked. This time he'll line up from the 10. Rice stands at his 35 on the other end. Morgan ready for the snap. This one's a good one. Morgan gets it away. Short kick, almost like he got under it.
Yeah.
It's going to take an Apprentice bounce inside the 45. And, boy, nice bounce down to the 40-yard line. That was appearing to be a really short kick. Ends up going for about 45.
Well, here it's 3rd possession by the Wasps. This is the worst field. They're starting at their own 39, but they've had excellent field position the last 2, and they've just done nothing. Kyle Short, only one completion for 3 yards. They really need to get him to situations where he can complete some passes and start moving this offense.
They'll start from the 39 with 7:04 to go in this first quarter. Builders lead at 7-0. Builders with 3 down linemen. And play action from Short. Looks deep left sideline. Looking for Rice. Hits him in stride at the 20. Inside the 10. To the 5. It's a touchdown. Elijah Rice. That's one way to wake up your offense. 61 yards on the fly route. And a beautiful throw ball from Short. That makes it 7-6.
A straight vertical by Elijah Rice there, and they caught the Builders with man-on-man coverage, and they were up on that press coverage. And, boy, that's not something you want to do with Elijah Rice because he can when he gets behind you, he's hard to catch. But nice throw by Kyle Short. And we just talked about getting his confidence up, and that'll go a long way right there, Josh.
61 yards down the sideline to Rice, stride for stride. There was no safety help. Jones for the PAT, Snotherly to hold. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Boy, the Wasps, after sputtering out of the gate offensively, they strike in one play. They go 61 yards to Elijah Rice. And one of the things, Gary, that that the Coach Brown talked about. He talked about, when I asked about this team for Emory, he said Rice is an athlete.
Yeah.
And so he's all over the place, and we see it right there.
And that's exactly why, Josh, I wouldn't be up in his grill on a press coverage man-to-man by myself with no safety help, and that's what they caught him in. And, boy, did they take advantage of it. You really just cannot put a corner out there and expect him to stay with Rice. And good call by the offensive coordinator, Beecraft, with trying to, exploit that situation. And Kyle Short just put some air under that, and you just let Elijah Rice run under it.
I think there'll certainly be some adjustments on the other end against Rice.
Yeah, and the Wasps like to see that. They'll put 3 over on the right side and Rice by himself, hoping that you're going to come up with a man-to-man situation. And boy, it's automatic.
One play and we're tied. 7:01 to go, first quarter.
Oh.
Jones's kick is going to actually tail out of bounds, and it actually hooks out of bounds at the 15. So the Builders will take over if they elect to do so at the 35.
I think that kick right there, I think, is the worst one we've seen from Cameron Jones this year. He's had some good kickoffs. Have not reached the end zone, but he hadn't hit a knuckleball like that.
It will actually give the Builders their best field position so far this game. The Builders have been back inside the 20-yard line, the 20, 25-yard line for most of this first quarter. They'll have it at the 35.
Of course, one of the downsides about hitting a bomb like that is your defense is right back out there. So plenty of playing time for the defense so far in this first quarter. They've been out on the field over 5 minutes already.
Tatum will lead the Builders out. He'll be in under center. The single setback is Tejada. Bunch formation to the left side on 1st and 10 from the 35. Tatum, they give us to Tejada. Left side, nothing doing. Oh, gosh. Emory in the backfield, Donovan Penix. And then there comes a late flag as there was a skirmish on the other side of the field between Goodman and Crimes. And this will be an interesting call coming up.
I think it's going to go against the Wasps here. He had him pinned. I thought they'd already given him the 2 points for the pin or takedown.
Crimes.
They may be offsetting. Maybe they're going to tell them both. But
Jalen Crimes and Miles Goodman hooked it up, and it looked like AEW there on the 40-yard line. No signal yet from the officials.
Was it Steamboat or Ric Flair?
I don't know. It's going to be a personal foul on, as you called it, Gary. It's just going to go against Emory.
Well, all you could see was Crimes on the top, and that's.
They've not moved the football as of yet. They'll have to move the football from the 35. They will.
It's going to give the Builders a first down and plenty of field position right here.
It's also Crimes' first unnecessary roughness there in the game. And, boy, that moves the Builders out to midfield. Uncharacteristic there coming from the senior. So the Builders quickly to midfield. They didn't have to do much. As the 15-yarder negates that loss from Penix. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Builders at midfield. Tatum in the gun with receivers to either side. He will throw. Tatum with time. Throws over the middle. Pass is incomplete. A lot of hand fighting at the 43-yard line. The intended receiver was Corpus on a drag route. Nice coverage out there by Payne over the middle.
Yeah, T.J. Payne just shadowing him across there, but there was plenty of hand-to-hand combat.
Corpus was the game winner last week. Had the 20-yard touchdown reception in overtime. He had 2 touchdowns in that game last week. So the Builders like to use the tight end. They throw athletes out there everywhere, and they've got plenty of them.
And then that tight end becomes a wide receiver. That's the advantage of this offense.
2nd and 10 from midfield. Tatum will be in the pistol with 4 wide. They'll put a man in motion to the right side. It's going to be the offensive keep, and boy, Donovan Penix goes off of the backer and then into Tatum. Bing bong there on a Penix, and it'll be a loss back to the 48.
Well, Penix was at the mesh point almost, so they were trying to run a little option right there, and he was at the mesh point and blew that play up for a 2-yard loss, giving them 3rd and 12 and exactly what the Wasps want to have.
Boy, Donovan Penix being all over the place here in this early going. He just knocked down the running back and then the quarterback. 3rd and 12 now for the Builders, back in their own territory at the 48. Tatum will be in the gun. They'll put one man in motion to the right. That's Goodman. Tatum to throw. Emory brings a blitzer. Under pressure, throws off his back foot, looks deep down the left sideline. He overshoots, but here comes a flag very late from the secondary.
Well, that flag doesn't come from the side judge. It's coming from the back judge.
They were looking.
It's going to be holding on the Wasps, on Dalton Wilson.
They were looking for Logan Istri, the freshman tight end, another one of the tight ends in this set. And it was advantage builders there. That ball is over the head of the defender, but they're going to call this interference. And 2 15-yard penalties on this drive for the Wasps, and it puts the builders at the Emory 37.
And these are two experienced cornerbacks, each of them picking up that 15-yard penalty.
The builders will take it. They'll have it at the 37. That's one way to convert your third down. So it's 1st and 10 builders at the 37. Tatum will be in the pistol on 1st and 10. Tejada the back to the right. It'll be the draw to Tejada, and he has dropped in the backfield. Wasps have done a really good job against the run. There's Donovan Penix again, loss of 2. I think Donovan was tackling as he was trying to get around the block there.
Yeah, I think he just tackled the offensive lineman and the running back. Donovan Penix and DeAndre Chambliss having a whale of a game here in this first quarter.
It's 2nd and 12 for the builders now at the Emory 39. 5:33 to go in the first quarter. We're tied at 7. Tatum will be in the gun on 2nd and 12. He'll look to the right side. He has Tejada as the back to the right. Emory with 4 down linemen, 2 deep safeties. Long count from Tatum. Tatum drops back. Tatum under pressure, throws to the left side. The pass is caught. Beautiful throw, and there comes another flag at the 31-yard line. I believe they're going to get Law on interference, but that was a great catch by Kyrie Graham.
Zyquist Law hooked him with his right arm as he was coming over the top. So, and the back judge, that plain to see right there. So that's another 15-yarder against the Wasps. They're going to be down in the red zone with just penalties.
Last week it was interesting in the win over Brevard. Brevard had 14 penalties for 144 yards. Right now Emory's right on that pace. It would be it's interesting that the officials are still talking about it there at the 31-yard line.
Well, if this is an interference call, which I think it is, that's 45 yards of penalties on this drive alone with 5:11 remaining in the first quarter.
Long discussion taking place on the other side of the field.
I wish they'd had this long discussion last week when Ivan Phillips had intercepted the ball.
The referee ready for the call here, and we waited on bated breath. It will be interference. It'll be interference against Emory Henry.
Yeah.
So the third 15-yarder against the Wasps, and this will move the sticks again for the builders. Wasps just giving them bunches and bunches of yards right here on penalties. They'll have it at the 31. So the builders, again, they're getting most of the first downs on the other end.
Yeah.
They'll get Tatum in the pistol. The deep back should be Tejada, and it is on 1st and 10. Tatum to throw. He has time. Pump fake. Now he's under pressure. They get away. Tatum gets away from 2 defenders, and Phillips comes up and clips him down about the 29. Nice escapability for Tatum there to get 2.
Sure was, and Jay Swagmeyer almost had him. The Wasps they did not have a sack last week, so they're working on 5 quarters without a sack.
It'll be a gain of 2 for Tatum, the sophomore out of Ashburn, Virginia, Stonebridge High School. They've got several folks from Stonebridge on this roster, do the builders. It'll bring up 2nd and 8 for the builders at the Emory 29. 4:30 to go first quarter. Tie game at 7. Tatum claps for the football. Tejada to his right. They'll put a man in motion as Corpus, the tight end. The give is to Tejada. Tries the left side following Corpus. Very, very little running room for Tejada there. He gets maybe a yard, and it's going to be stopped on the play. This time they had Zyquist Law comes up and makes the stop.
One of the things about the builders, when they take that man in motion and he slows down towards the middle of the line, a lot of times he'll take you right to the ball, and that's what that looked like that time the Wasps were just keying off of that man in motion.
3rd and 8 for the Builders at the Emory 29. Builders come out with receivers to either side. One tight end, that's Corpus to the right side. Shotgun formation for Tatum on 3rd and 8. Emory shows blitz off the right. Phillips creeping up. Wide receiver goes in motion almost early, and he did.
Yeah.
Nick Pierce went a little too fast there as he went forward just before the snap was done from the Builders. It'll be 5 yards against the Builders.
Yeah, when you go in motion like that, you can't turn up field too early. And a little bit more comfortable situation with 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13 for the Wasps.
That's the first penalty so far for Apprentice. 3rd and 13 for the Builders back at the Emory 34. 3:27 and counting left in the opening quarter. We are all tied at 7. Apprentice has dominated time of possession in this first quarter. They'll have 4 wide on this formation. Tatum will be in the pistol on 3rd and 13. Tejada to his right. Tatum to throw. Here comes the Emory blitz. They get away from one defender. Tatum throwing off his back foot, throws to a crowd. It's a jump ball, and it's knocked away. That ball just fluttered in the air at the 10-yard line. Gertie and nicely fought for it and nicely swats it away.
Ivan Phillips on the blitz that time.
We've got a flag down again.
Ivan Phillips on the blitz that time. He left his feet, and Tatum went right underneath him.
This looks like it's going to be an eligible downfield is the call, and they're talking to Newsom. You'd think that Newsom will probably decline this penalty. It would be 4th and 13.
with that kicker over there, I don't know. I mean, that's what you got to think about. But I think they'd lined up. They had a man covered up on that upper side of the left side, and that's an ineligible receiver if you're covered up. So they did decline it.
It would be a 51-yarder, so Morgan, they'll come out and punt. He's definitely capable of making it from this distance, but I think Apprentice here, I think they want to pin Emory deep here. Don't want to give him any more momentum.
Elijah Rice lining up on the 10-yard line. You don't want to field one anywhere inside that 10.
Morgan, no rush. Actually, a late rush and almost blocked was Donovan Penix. He may have got a hand on it. Well, Penix just came right through the line, and the ball is going to go out of bounds at about the 28-yard line, 29.
Yeah, Josh, and as I said earlier, the Wasps, after looking at film, they feel like they can get to this punter. And there's 2 times in a row it's been close.
It looked like it was almost a stutter step for Penix, and that actually is going to go as a 5-yard punt. So it was kicking from the 34. It goes out of bounds at the 29. So the Wasps get pretty good field position out of this when it seemed like the Builders were going to score in some way or shape or fashion.
Yeah, they're backing off of Elijah Rice on single coverage over here.
Gives it to Jordan. Nice hole on the left side. It covers up quickly. Paul Massey is the first one to meet Jordan, and we've got an Emory defender engaged, and we've got another flag again, and we've got a helmet lost as well. And boy, this game is turning into Marker City right now. Rice lost his helmet at about the 33. This is going to go against one or the other, you'd think, for unnecessary roughness.
Elijah Rice, number 23 for the Builders, were
Harris,
chicken fighting there, Harris, and Harris continued on till he tackled Rice, but I don't know if they caught that. It's always the second man, and it gets caught.
Jordan, it'll be at the 33 as one official, I think, threw a flag and then dropped his hat as well. Or he may have had it knocked off his head. I'm not sure.
Well, no, that means that there's 2 penalties. The flag is the first one, then your hat's the second one, so maybe they're offsetting.
Yeah, he may have seen both.
Hopefully this won't continue throughout the game, but there's been a lot of rooster fighting, as we used to call it, between some of the wide receivers and on both sides and defensive backs.
And they're actually, the officials are writing down because they've got to take notes as far as who the unnecessary roughness is, because 2 of those and you're disqualified. So they're doing a lot of writing here. This may be against multiple players.
I think they're getting each other's address for after the game. Something
either
like
that or
phone numbers.
Either that or doing a final exam using those blue books.
Yeah.
I don't know. Younger listeners don't know what a blue book is for writing. Thank goodness you don't. Here we go. Here's the call coming from the officials, we think. And we've been waiting for a minute or two on this. Meanwhile, Emory and Apprentice are ready to go. After the call comes in, we have 2:42, and this game is going at a standstill. It will be offsetting penalties. Also, there's offsides against the Apprentice. We got the unsportsmanlike conduct on both teams. So it'll be Harris and Rice. You caught the call right. So that's both of the unnecessary roughness for both of those players. And then there was also an offsides call within all that too.
So, yeah, the penalty's 5 yards for the offsides and the other two offset. So we're 1st and 5.
So after a lengthy timeout, we have it 1st and 5 from the 34. Short will be in the gun. Play action. Pump fake. Throws short. Pass is caught for a first down at the 45. That's over the middle and caught by number 17, Jermarn Ford, the sophomore out of District Heights, Maryland. He has it to the 47 and a first down.
Yeah, nice play action pass by Kyle Short there. Faked the run and then hit the receiver on a little slant.
And, Gary, on that play you saw, too, they were taking away that deep option, so they went short. 1st and 10 Wasps from the 47. Short. They give us to Jordan off left tackle. Boy, nothing doing there. Maybe a yard to the 48 as Rashard Phipps there, I should say, the freshman out of Richmond, makes the stop.
Well, Jermarn Ford had come in for Elijah Rice, and I think Newsom wanted him to calm down a little bit and took him out for a couple of plays. He's too valuable to lose.
No gain for Jordan, actually, to the 47. We're under 2 minutes to go. 2nd and 10 from the 47. Tie game 7-all. Short in the gun with 3 receivers. Jordan to his left. Short, give to Jordan. Off right tackle. Runs into his own man and gets almost to midfield. They'll mark him at about the 49-yard line. Christian Walker there will get credited for the stop when, honestly, Jordan almost ran into his own man. That stopped his progress.
Yeah, notice Harris still covering Elijah Rice down here in the bottom on the left side, but he's giving him a nice about 10-yard cushion now. There's no more of this right up in your face man-to-man.
They'll give Jordan midfield. Brings up 3rd and 7 for the Wasps at the 50. 1:06 and counting left in the opening quarter. 4 wide for Short. On 3rd and 7, Short looks left, pump fake, has time. Now Short's going to take off and run with it to the 45 and gets out of bounds. He's right at the marker, and he's got it. Needed 7, he got 8. It's a first down.
Smart play by Short there, knowing exactly how much he had to get and steps out of bounds. He had a wide open receiver, Justin Marshall, but he didn't have time to get it to him.
And a pickup on 3rd and long, a big first down for the Wasps at the Builders 42. 45 seconds and counting left in the opening quarter. Wasps 1st and 10 from the Apprentice 42. Twin backs this time. They give it to Montgomery. Montgomery first carry to the 40. Cuts upfield. Oh, he was almost a tackle away from it. Nice student body right there to the gain of the 37, gain of 5.
Josh, I saw them using a 2-back offense during practice this week, and they're using that front back as a blocker, and it's just like the old-fashioned green-based sweep.
Yeah, Montgomery there out in front. He gets 5. Nice run there from the freshman out of Taylorsville, North Carolina. 2nd and 5 for Emory at the Builders 37. Maybe the final play of the first quarter. 8 seconds on the game clock. Play action from Short. 8. Looking down the left side of the field. Diving, grabbing, nearly caught it. It's actually not caught, but there is a flag at the 20. Gunnar Griffith was the intended receiver, and I think this is going to go as interference.
As interference. The Builders brought 8 men up, dropped the safety down. And the Wasps just hit a vertical with Gunnar Griffith, but it's interference on them.
It looked like
Deshaun. Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
No, unless they called holding, but Gunnar Griffith that was going to be 6 for him unless they did something. So
it will be interference. Deshaun Jackson, the guilty party, over the back of Griffith, and that will move the football for Emory down to the 22-yard line. As once they run the clock here with 1 second left, this should be the last play of the first quarter.
Clock's not going to start until it's snapped.
Correct. Right. So this will be, Wasps will have one more play towards the south end zone. Twin back set. They give us to Jordan. Off right tackle to the 20. Inside the 10. Devontae Jordan untouched for the touchdown. on the right side of the field. And on the last play of the first quarter, Devontae Jordan goes in from 22 yards out.
Boy, Josh, they caught him with a little draw there to Devontae Jordan. It looked like it was going to be a pass, and I think that's what the Builders were looking for. And Devontae Jordan just shot through that hole on the right side and took it to the house from the 22-yard line.
So on the last play, 1 second on the clock, the Wasps score. And in a quarter in which Apprentice has dominated pretty much everything except the score.
Yeah.
The Wasps, with the PAT coming from Jones, it's up and good. At the end of one, your score, Emory Henry 14, the Apprentice School 7.
And while we've got a minute here between the quarters, let's thank some of our sponsors, Josh. Emory Henry Football is brought to you with support from Tumbling Creek Cider Company, open daily at the Spring House at 112 Court Street, Northeast Abingdon, and online at tumblingcreeksider.com.
And Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Snow's Fine Meats and Provisions, a neighborhood butcher shop in downtown Abingdon, open Tuesday through Saturday, online at snowsfinemeats.com, 160 East Main Street, Abingdon. Snow's Fine Meats, bringing the old-fashioned butcher shop experience to your table.
And we're brought to you by First Bank. They're proud supporter of Emory Henry Football. They offer mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and much, much more. They've been serving the community with free checking since 1979, and they're a member FDIC. Visit them on the web at firstbank.com.
Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Food City, the food experts, locally owned and operated for more than 60 years with 130 convenient locations. Food City is proud to support Emory Henry College Football.
And the Wasps are about to kick this one off here, and we'll get to the rest of those sponsors, Josh, in just a moment.
So as we start the second quarter, Emory and Henry leading 14-7, but as Gary is analyzing the stats, it's pretty much everything Builders except for the scoreboard right now. Jones kicks it deep, and they are going to let this ball bounce at the 5. That ball is live. It's at the 2. The Builders are going to have to go back and pick it up, and doing so on the right sideline, and then out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. I think the Builders were thinking that football was going to go in the end zone, and it just backed up.
I think they thought it was. It looks like they took a page out of the Wasp special teams right there. Boy, that could have been a huge mistake, and as it was, starts them off at the 17-yard line.
Absolutely. And we also want to thank the Bank of Marion and all their hometown community branches throughout the region. Bank of Marion, the home loan leader.
And also, we're sponsored by Greco's, proud to bring taste from our home to yours. They're serving Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee with locations in Abingdon and Johnson City. And you can look at their menu on greco.com.
So, Gary, that was almost like a 9-iron that just backed up from Jones, and the Builders will start 1st and 10 from the 17. Tatum in the gun, looks left, throws out there a little bit of a screen, slip screen, out to the 20-yard line, and up to about the 24-yard line was the receiver Miles Goodman. He's tackled by Crimes. It'll be a gain of almost 7.
Yeah, nice block by the Builders there on number 35, the safety for the Wasps. He had come up to try and stop that play at the line, Addison nicely, but nice block by the Builders.
So the Builders quickly get the football out, and it's a gain of 7 up to the 24 for the Builders. And they'll have it 2nd and about 3 from there. 4 receivers for Tatum, who's in the pistol. Tejada to his left. Tatum ready for the snap. Tatum throws over the middle and miscommunication. He was looking for Tejada, who actually got held up in traffic by Penix, and the ball falls incomplete. They were looking for a little bit of a screen, almost like a pop pass over the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to the running back, and he missed him, couldn't find him really, and had to get rid of it. But, boy, if he had found him, there could have been some yardage right there. But now bringing up a short 3rd and 3.
3rd down and 3 for the Builders at the 24. Tatum will be in the gun, actually pistol formation. Tejada's the deep back, 4 wide for the Builders on 3rd and 3. Emory with Phillips up as a blitzer. Tatum drops back, 3-step drop, pump fake, under pressure, spins back, now throws off his back foot, and the pass is knocked away by Crimes at the 36. Intended receiver was Gertie. Putting pressure on was Ellis, and Tatum had to get rid of that football.
He sure did, and that was with 4 down linemen. There was no blitz on that, Josh. That's the front 4 bringing plenty of pressure on Tatum, and he just really had nowhere to throw the ball.
So the Emory defense here doing its job here in this for early going in this contest. Yeah, they gave up the early score. It was actually a defensive touchdown for the Builders, but Ross defense doing a pretty good job so far. Morgan set to kick. Again, Emory should get good field position out of this. Good snap to Morgan. Morgan almost has it blocked. And over in, Rice takes it at the 44. Up to midfield, Elijah Rice in the Builder territory, and then he'll dive down to the 45-yard line. That'll be a gain almost 10 yards, and the Wasps will have a great field position again, Emory.
I'm not sure how they didn't block that. But, Emory defense starting to do their job on third downs. I think they're 2 for 5 now. Is that right? Or the Builders are 2 for 5, or is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 25%. Well, 25%, 1 of 4, but it's 2 of 5. I think you're right on the updated stats there. Yeah. But it puts Emory in business, Gary, at the Builder 45. 13:55 to go into the half. And Emory scored 14 straight, and they have the football again. Going towards the James H. Brooks Fieldhouse to our right. They'll put a man in motion as Rice on the jet sweep. Rice tries to get off tackle. He does to the 40. Elijah Rice with a stiff arm. 2 stiff arms. And here comes a flag in late. They might get Rice with the guilty of the face mask here. He had it at the 37.
I think they are. He had his hand up into the face mask, and he, for a second or two, grabbed it. So I don't.
And usually you see face mask on the defense.
Yeah.
We believe this is probably going to go against Emory. It came out right as Elijah had the second stiff arm. Oh, they're going to call this against the defense. Wow, I didn't see that.
I didn't either, but.
Wasps will take it. That was a little surprising there.
Yeah, that face mask on number 21.
Jashawn Jackson.
Yeah.
I thought Rice would have been guilty of that one, but they'll give the 15 yards to Emory, and the Wasps are in business now at the Builder 22. Twin back set again for the Wasps. 3 receivers for Short on 1st and 10. It's Montgomery and Jordan flanking Short. Short's going to throw. Throws over the middle. Comeback pattern at the 10-yard line. He was behind Griffith there, incomplete.
Again, a little miscommunication. I think Gunner came to the inside and Short threw it to the outside. So that's twice today we've had miscommunications from those two.
Harris right there on coverage for the Builders. Incomplete pass from Short brings up 2nd and 10 now for the Wasps at the Builder 22. Short's going to try to give it to Montgomery. Makes one man miss. This is going to go against Emory. This is a hold behind the play. And Montgomery does a good job to getting up to the 20, but this one's going to be coming back.
Yeah, Parker Coe, they shot that gap, and he didn't have much choice other than to do a takedown on the Builders defender, which he almost blew up the play anyway. But
yeah. So the hold against Emory and Henry, the Wasps piling up the penalty yards here in this first half. So it'll bring up 2nd down for the Wasps. They'll move the ball all the way back to the Apprentice 32. Brings up 2nd and 20 for Emory. 13:36 until the half, 14-7. Emory and Henry leads it. 4 receivers for Short. He has Jordan to his right on 2nd and 20. Short to throw. Looking for the screen, inside screen to Rice, and he dropped the football. And I don't think he would have gone far anyways. The Builders had that well read.
Yeah, they know what screens look like, so they had that one well defended. But brings up a long 3rd down, and this promising drive that it looked like it was going to be is kind of stalled.
Luke Jackson there breaking that screen up. 3rd and 20 for the Wasps. I'd like to see him at least get half of this to at least get it in field goal range. Short will drop back on 3rd and 20. Short under pressure. Rolls right. Short throws off his back foot down the field, and the pass is in and out of the hands. Nearly a diving grab for the 1st down was Gunner Griffith. It would have been a 1st down, but he couldn't hang on at the 10.
Gunner Griffith usually 9 times out of 10 makes that catch. He's got such good hands, but that one slipped through as he went down to the ground, bringing up 4th down, and Wasps going to call timeout here, Josh.
13:19 to go in the first half, and the Wasps facing 4th and 20 from the Apprentice 32. It's really, well, you're really in no man's land right here. You know, you're looking at either a long field goal or you're looking at very, very much a pooch punt on this, you certainly don't go for it on 4th and 20. So that's what the Wasps have to be looking at right here. You would think, you'd think maybe try to pin the Builders inside the 10. I'm not sure here.
Yeah, I think you trying to kick it to the corner here. I don't think there's any question about not going for it. The 14-7 lead, you don't want to breathe air back into this bunch.
And we will see Morgan. Been a while since I've seen a game where 2 punters had the last name of Morgan, so that's easy to remember. So you got Garrett Morgan set to kick, and then Jeremiah Morgan on the other side for Apprentice. So it'll be 4th and 20, and the Wasps will try to kick this football. And really, Apprentice very much in a punt-safe formation. They do have one back at about the 5-yard line. Morgan is no rush. He's just going to angle it to the right sideline and kicks it out of bounds, probably a little bit further up than what he have liked, as the official's going to mark it out of bounds at the 16. 16-yard punt. It does go inside the 20, and the Builders do a good job there after the Wasps had broken into territory there. The holding call really slowed down that drive for Emory and Henry. Builders have it 1st and 10 at the 16.
Yeah, and that drive started about midfield, so unfortunately, that hold kind of put them in the hole, and they never did recover from it.
So the Builders, back at the 16, 13-13 to go until the half. They'll start with 4 wide. Tatum will be in the gun. He'll have one back to his left. That's 𝙁𝙁. Tatum, he'll throw on 1st down. Tatum, hit as he throws to the right sideline. The pass on the back shoulder is grabbed. A beautiful grab out there by, I believe, that's Miles Goodman, with nicely all over him at the 44-yard line.
Ivan Phillips almost got there in time for a sack, but what a throw by Tatum.
Beautiful grab by Goodman. Nice coverage by Nicely. That was just an even better catch. Goodman, the sophomore out of Suffolk, gets the Builders out of their shadow of their own end zone up to the 44. That'll be Tatum's longest throw of the day.
Yeah.
1st and 10 Builders at the 44. He'll come out 4 wide again. Tatum in the gun. Again, 𝙁𝙁 to his right. Emory with 4 down linemen on 1st and 10. Tatum to throw. It's going to be the screen out there, and in front of the receiver was gertie, and Crimes had cheated up, and that sailed over Crimes, hit at the 45.
Well, it's a good thing that for Tatum that was a high throw, because the Emory defender was just about to take that one to the house. Crimes with another one of those crimes against humanity.
Yeah, he was right there, and it was just went back past him too quickly. So it'll be 2nd and 10 now for the Builders at the 44. 12:35 to go into the half. Emory leads at 14-7. 4 wide again, 3 to the left side, single receiver right. And it'll be Tatum in the gun on 2nd and 10. Tatum drops back. Here comes the Emory blitz. They get rid of it. Single coverage down the right side of the field, but he overshoots the receiver. At the 15-yard line, they were looking for Corpus, and he was one-on-one out there from Dalton. Good job by Emory to get home, and that affected that pass down the sideline.
Yeah, it did, but good gosh, there's a lot of pressure there. But Tatum stood in there. He threw that one about 50 yards on the line. This kid's, I'm impressed with his arm.
Yeah, definitely. He has certainly done a good job of escape pressure the whole game, and has done a really good job for this Builders group. Certainly last week and showing it here today. Builders face a 3rd and 10, though, at the 44. 4 receivers in the formation for Tatum. He'll have one back to his right. That's 𝙁𝙁. Tatum looks left, ready for the snap. Emory drops back in coverage. Tatum, pump fake, under pressure, and he's going to go down. The first sack of the year, and it comes from the Defensive Player of the Year, Jay Sweghammer, who'll drop him at the 39.
Yeah, their first sack since they had 5 against North Carolina Wesleyan. They had none last week, so finally getting on the board with the sack. Swaghammer, lots of pressure, but he had lots of help too.
Absolutely, right up the gut there, and it's good to see the Emory line get active there. And the first, as I mentioned there, it seems like the first sack of the year, first sack in many quarters for this team. We forget last week where the Wasps had none. And Morgan set to punt. Rice stands on his own 25.
It looks like they're going to come after it.
Morgan gets it away again under pressure, and it's just going to go straight up the chute and go backwards and take an Emory bounce. And this is going to go out of bounds at the 46-yard line. That is a 7-yard punt.
Well, Jeremiah Morgan, the Emory Henry punt return team has taken up a lot of space in his mind because he's kicked 3 of them straight up in the air, and that's a lot going on in his brain. They're coming after me. So
it looked like Pennick's way he pushed the defender back, and I think that affected the kick, and it was almost like in a little bit of a friendly fire there. It was like he got in the way of the kick. And the Wasps, again, with excellent field position at the Apprentice 46. Wasps going to have to take advantage of these short fields. 11:37 to go to the half. Emory still up by 7. Play action, short throws to the left side and Griffith to the left side. He and Griffith have had a tough time of communicating today. That ball throws wide at the 37.
Yeah, and that ball was out of his hand before Gunner had turned around, and when they're wide like that, a receiver, you can't make any adjustments.
So incomplete pass there for the Wasps brings up 2nd and 10 from the Apprentice 47. 3 receivers in the formation with Short in the gun. He'll have Jordan to his left. Play action, same play. This time they connect. Griffith takes the football, gets away from one defender, stays in bounds, and gets it down to the 39. That's just a simple curl route. Gain of 7 down to the 39.
Well, they caught the Builders in a soft coverage. They've backed their corners off ever since Rice burned them for that touchdown. So they caught, it's an easy pitch and catch because they're the soft coverage.
3rd and 3 for the Wasps at the Apprentice 39. 3 receivers. Builders with 2 linebackers up, 1 deep safety, 3 receivers in the formation. Short goes to the gun. Jordan flips over to the left side on 3rd and 3. The pitch to Jordan to the left side. Nice block by Venhorst.
Good call.
He's got a first down and more. Devontae Jordan galloping, and he will score. Devontae Jordan gets around the mess at the line, and he goes in from 39 yards out, and Emory is ballooned the lead to 13.
Well, what a good call by the Wasps offensive coordinator. They caught him in a cover 3, so they'd backed out 3 of their secondary, and then they swept that right side over there with a little quick pitch, left side, and then Devontae Jordan did the rest. He did break a couple of tackles.
Jordan showing his speed there, and he just pulled away from the Builders, and the Wasps are on the board. The extra point kick up by Jones is up and good. And with 10:45 to go, it's 21 straight now for the Wasps. After that early defensive touchdown, Wasps lead it now 21-7.
Well, like I said, a nice call by the offensive coordinator there. The Emory Henry offense just caught him backing out. They are actually, Josh, backing out of there. And when you do that quick pitch, he ran for a few yards before he's ever touched, and then he did break a tackle.
Yeah, Devontae Jordan now with 2 touchdown runs in this one. You see, Gary, the Wasps starting to get a little bit more stronger on that running attack that they need in this offense.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'm seeing is the Builders are not playing that aggressive style of defense as they were in the first quarter. It seems like they've kind of backed out and given the Wasps an opportunity for some of this rushing that they've been able to pick up.
Boy, Jordan there, again, it was just the toss sweep to the left side, and Jordan cut across right at the seam and just weaved his way, and once he got to the 20, there was nobody left. So the Wasps, with 21 unanswered now, lead at 21-7, 10:45 to go until the half. Jones set to kick, and it's a good one, and it's deep, and it's caught at the 1. Up at the 5, up to the 10, 15, 20, and a collision at the 20-yard line. Oh, my goodness. Tomlinson looked like he took the brunt of that hit. He'll actually get credited for the tackle against Gertie at the 22.
Yeah, Logan Tomlinson really knifing down in there, but at the end of that play, he kind of took the lick, and I believe he's a little bit shaken up after that.
Yeah, he'll walk off there. The Tomlinson, the sophomore out of Gate City, has been very active on special teams today for this Emory and Henry group, looking for stability in that department.
Mm-hmm.
So the Builders start 1st and 10 from their 22, going right to left from the home side. Tatum will be in the gun with 4 wide on 1st and 10. Tejada to his left. Tatum, they give us to Tejada right off the right tackle. He gets away. Actually, helmets come off. This is going to be a face mask against Emory. Jordan Mighty there looked like he grabbed the face mask, and it immediately comes off. And a good job there by Tejada there to not get hurt after he's got the football and still moving forward.
Yeah, that was definitely a face mask, and Tejada, you're right, good to see he didn't get hurt with the rest of that play. But another 15 yards tacked on to the Wasps.
𝘽𝙪, the freshman out of Orlando, Florida, Orlando Christian Prep. And they're going to mark this football. They've got it marked at the 26. I'm a little confused on this spot. And it will go against Emory Henry. Yeah, they'll move this football well ahead. I'm not sure why they put it down to 26. Maybe in the initial stoppage there for the running back.
This officiating crew doesn't seem to mark off penalties until the white hat has made the announcement. It's like they don't want to steal his thunder.
It's a 15-yarder for the Wasps, Gary. And boy, the Wasps, another one of those in this game. It seems like they've had at least 4 or 5.
That's at least 4 that they've had 15-yarders.
So that moves the Builders out to the 41. And the clock is stopped at 10:22 left in the half. Emory leads at 21-7. The Builders, once we reset, will have it 1st and 10 from the 41. Tatum will go to the pistol in this formation. 𝘽𝙪 will be the deep back.
And 𝘽𝙪 did not have to come out of the game.
Actually, you're correct there. Reed is the back for the Builders. 1st and 10. Tatum looking on the wheel route. Looks deep left sideline. The Wasps read that very well. They were looking for 𝘽𝙪 out on the wheel route. Crimes defended it well at the 40. Pass incomplete.
Crimes using that old arm bar to kind of force that receiver out of bounds. The throw was a little bit outside, but that is legal. But there is contact when you're going down the sideline like that.
Pass incomplete. We saw a lot of the wheel route last week against Bluefield.
Well, I think there were 2 touchdowns last week, one for each team off that wheel route.
2nd and 10 now for the Builders.
And I'm sure that the Apprentice saw that in the film.
And 𝘽𝙪 actually will line up, 𝘽𝙪 back in there on 2nd and 10. 4 receivers for Tatum. Tatum in the gun on 2nd and 10. He'll throw. Tatum looks left, throws over the middle, throws high, and the pass is deflected, incomplete.
Ooh.
Corpus had inside position at the 45, but nicely came over and knocked it away at the 40.
He was able to come over the top without making too much contact, which you can't go through a receiver, but he was able to come over the top. But that was close, too.
Brings up 3rd and 10 now for the Builders. 10-11 to go in this first half. And, this is an important possession for the Builders. They've already given up 21. And they don't want to give this ball back to Emory Henry.
Well, given what their punter's done for the last 3 times, no. You don't want to punt it from here.
Shotgun formation for Tatum. 𝘽𝙪 to his left on 3rd and 10. Emory brings the blitz. 𝘽𝙪 looking for the screen pass to 𝘽𝙪. He's got it at the 45. Payne knocks him out of bounds, and he's got the first down. Good call against the blitz there by the Builders. Boy,
no,
what a bad.
No, it's going to be 4th down.
Thought he had the first down, but they mark him at midfield, so it's going to be 4th and 1 coming up for the Builders.
Well, they caught the Wasp in a blitz that time with that screen. Perfect call for the Builders.
Nice tackle by Ellis to push him out of bounds, and the Builders down 14. They'll go for it.
Given what their punter's done, Josh, I don't blame them. If he were to launch another 7-yard punt, what good would that do?
4th and less than 1, just inside midfield. Tatum under center, and we've got a stoppage of play. Apprentice will burn their first time out. So the Builders down 21-7. We'll take a timeout to talk about it.
Yeah, I think they didn't like, they've got the Tatum looked like he's going to be under center there, the old quarterback sneak. It's what I would think, but they want to talk this over. If they had a decent punter, and I'm not saying the kid's not, but he's had 3 bad punts in a row, I think no question you'd punt it away and instead of giving the Wasps another 50-yard field position. But right now it's questionable.
Uncharacteristic there is Morgan was very impressive in warm-ups and in last week. So I think a lot of it has to do with Emory Henry and what they've done. But, Gary, you've got stats there in front of us. Looking at time of possession is still one-sided in this one, is it not?
Yeah, it's the 13 minutes for the Builders versus 6 for the Wasp. And what that tells me, though, is that this field position has been crazy positive for the Wasp. They've not had a very long field.
As we start the after the timeout, 4th and less than 1. Tatum under center, single setback. Tatum, the give us to the back in the backfield. Second effort, third effort, he didn't get it. The first man through was Brent Butler, who blew that play up, and they've got it marked at midfield, and he looks to be short.
Oh, he is short. Well, the Apprentice is pointing one way and the Wasps the other.
The side judge has it at midfield, and it's Emory and Henry football. Boy, the Emory and Henry run defense has been up to the challenge today. And it's Brent Butler who stopped that play initially against 𝘽𝙪, and it's no gain at midfield.
Brent Butler had a really good game last week, and that, you know, he makes initial contact, and then they just keep on coming. Give credit to the running back for Apprentice. He didn't give up either. There was like second and third effort there.
So the Wasps, it seems like they've been at midfield most of the first half. They'll start again at midfield. And they lead at 21-7, 9:57 to go until the half. Short in the gun, he'll have 3 receivers. Jordan to his left on 1st and 10. Here comes the blitz. Short's going to keep it, and late keep on the RPO. Dives forward to the 48. Carry it. The whole house went towards Jordan, and Short takes it out of his gut for a gain of 2.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be more than that.
It looked like Luke Jackson was the last defender there to stop Short, and if he didn't, Short's still running up the middle of the field. First carry for Short in this RPO. They'll bring up 2nd and 8 now at the Apprentice 48.
Boy, you got Rice single coverage up at the top.
Here comes the blitz again. They give it to Jordan off right tackle. Dives forward. Jordan's got a first down up to the 40-yard line. That'll be a gain of 8 for Jordan. Big chunks of yardage here so far for Jordan this second quarter.
Yeah, Jordan, that big chunk there puts him right around 80 yards for the day.
Emory in the hurry-up, play action from Short over the middle. Pass is caught by Cozy. Cozy in the clear. Cozy breaks a tackle. Kashawn Cozy with the Emory touchdown. Emory goes to the back to the quick offense. There is a flag down at the 35. Hold the phone.
Looks like they may have had an ineligible receiver downfield, number 79.
Cozy went in from 40 out, and this is going to come back. Ineligible downfield is the call, and take off the touchdown run.
Boy, what a nice catch and throw by Short to Cozy. I mean, he hit him right in stride just as soon as he came open from around that defensive back, and Cozy did the rest. But, boy, that's a shame right there.
Coach Wellenhofer not happy there on the sideline with that. He's pointing there and just almost pointing to the line there. Instead of a touchdown, it's 1st and 15 after the ineligible man downfield against Emory. From the Apprentice 45. Short will stay in the gun. He'll have Jordan to his right. Short, the late give to Jordan to the 40. Jordan to the 30. Jordan to the 20. Foot race. They won't get him. It's a touchdown.
Wow.
Devontae Jordan, hello. 45 yards to the left side, and Devontae Jordan with his 3rd touchdown run in the first half, and Emory has scored 27 in a row. It's 27-7.
Well, you know, it's outside zone play going off tackle there, and Jordan seems like he's got another gear today. He just lightning quick through that hole, and no one touched him as he went racing down the sideline. So 2 plays in a row, touchdowns, Josh. You don't see that very often. Thank goodness this one wasn't called back.
Another PAT attempt coming up here from Jones. Snotherly to hold. Snap is down. Jones kick on the way. Low line drive. It still goes through. And with 8:51 to go into the half, have a first half Devontae Jordan.
Boy,
3rd touchdown run of the day.
3rd touchdown. Over 100 yards now rushing for Jordan. And, you know, coming into the game, Josh, Jordan, he was ranked nationally. I believe he was 8th with yardage. So, boy, he's adding it on today. And this is the 3rd game in a row that he's gone over 100 yards. 3rd game in a row.
Yeah, he has really, really excelled today, and I've been impressed with his secondary speed. I mean, he's in the secondary, and there's not been anybody that has corralled him once he's got there.
If I'm Grayson Overstreet, I'm going to get better in a hurry.
So the run there for Jordan makes it now 28-7.
Grayson Overstreet, normally would be starting, but he's got a bad ankle, so he's been out, and hopefully we'll have him back for the Macon game. But I think Jordan's covering for him pretty well.
Doing awfully well.
Yeah,
awfully well. Jordan, the senior from Bassett, Virginia, transfer out of University of Virginia's College at Wise. 28-7 now. Emory Henry leads it. Backpedaling and making the catch at the 2-yard line is 𝘽𝙪𝙞. Up to the 15, and he doesn't even get to the 20-yard line. Another great special teams coverage down the field for Emory and Henry. It was Stanley Athey, the freshman linebacker there, making the initial hit.
Well, it's like we said at the top of the program, a lot of special teams work, and it looks like it's paid off so far, particularly on these kickoffs.
So the Builders will start 1st and 10 at their 17. 8:44 to go into the half, and it's been 28 straight now for the Wasps since the Harris return for the touchdown on the defensive side for the Builders. 4 receivers will come out here for Tatum. He'll have one back to his right on 1st and 10. 5 receivers now. 𝘽𝙪𝙤 goes out as a receiver. Tatum, pump fake, and that's going to take off and run with it. Tatum has 5. Oh, and the flag comes in late at the 25-yard line. I believe they're going to get Apprentice for a hold.
I think they do. I think they have a hold, but it's a nice play, and Tatum showing some speed coming out of that pocket.
We've seen that 5 receiver set quarterback sneak there or quarterback run a few times, and this is going to come back. This is going to be against the Builders. I believe they're going to get Momino, the junior out of Winchester, there on almost like a little bit of a trip hold, a little bit of a tackle there behind the play. So the officials will step off the football. This was going to go inside the 10 down to the 9.
Well, the Wasps really like to squeeze them here and either get another punt from their Morgan or a turnover deep here in Builder territory.
It's 1st and about 18 for the Builders now at the 9. It'll be empty backfield for Tatum. He's got 5 wide here on 1st and 10. Tatum ready for the snap. They'll move a man in motion to the left side. Now they'll have one backer as 𝘽𝙪𝙤. Tatum looks out there, throws the swing pass to 𝘽𝙪𝙤, nothing doing. Emory and Henry, Brent Butler followed him the whole way, and he loses 4 back to the 5.
And also Logan Tomlinson in as linebacker too, so good play. Tomlinson, key player on those kickoffs, but now he's in on defense.
Brings up 2nd down and almost 22.
Excuse me, he's defensive line, not linebacker.
Builders going in reverse. 8:10 to go in this first half. Emory up 28-7.
Well, Emory has really challenged them. They throw a little swing pass out, but they've got 3 defenders right up on the line of scrimmage. 2nd
and 22 for the Builders at the Emory.
Wow.
Let's get their own 5, I should say. Tatum in the gun with 4 wide. They'll put Goodman in motion to the right. Tatum from his own end zone takes the snap, and we've got whistles. And I believe the play clock expired as well, or a timeout, one of the two. Flag is down at the 30 from the back judge. And it is a delay against Apprentice. This will be half the distance. They'll put this football about the 2.5. And the Builders are not going the right way.
You know, something safe here for the Builders. I'd say look for a screen or a little swing pass out to one of the backs. But I think the Wasps are going to bring pressure looking for a safety right here.
2nd and 25 now coming up for the Builders just outside their 2. They'll have very tight formation, 2 tight end formation, single setback. Tatum will go under center on 2nd and half a mile. They give us to the back and nearly getting out of the end zone, or does he?
Didn't.
He did get out of the end zone, did 𝘽𝙪𝙤 to the 1, and he barely did. Butler almost got a safety.
Brett Butler celebrating a little bit there, really crashing through there. It looked like he didn't get out, but a lot of second effort by 𝘽𝙪𝙤 to get out of there.
And I believe Ellis lost his helmet. He'll come out for one play, and the Builders are back at their own 1-yard line. 3rd down and 26 from your 1. Not a lot of plays on 3rd and 27.
No, the offensive coordinator doesn't have a lot of those in his pocket. And here you just want to do something safe, but now you've got a punter that's had trouble all day long, so they need a little space for him.
If you're Emory, you're trying to keep everything in front of you. Tatum under at center. 3rd down and tackled in the end zone, and trying to get out is 𝘽𝙪𝙤, and he does so. 𝘽𝙪𝙤 was hit 2 yards deep by Penix and does a good job of getting out of the end zone to the 2.
And Penix and then Brett Butler, he squirmed out of his arms too to give him the 4th down at about 3, and it looks like we've got someone down.
Injured player there. 𝘽𝙪𝙤 had to do everything he could, a Herculean effort just to get out of the end zone. and it was Tatum that actually was the injured player. He's coming off under his own power. So the Emory defense there nearly gets a safety, and 𝘽𝙪 had to do everything he could just to get out of the end zone.
Well, I'm sure they're going to put pressure on this punter, but, boy, the field position you could get, I'd almost let him punt it away.
Morgan will have to snap this ball less than 10 yards. Snap is low. Morgan does a good job of getting it out of the way. Best punt of the day. Rice will take it at the 44. Stutter step. Now tries to stiff arm, goes the other way, gets away from a defender, gets away from 2 defenders, and then he's dragged down. So all of that nets a gain of 1. So that's about the best thing that the Builders could have done. Good job by Morgan to get that football away. Kick of about 44.
It really was. That was he back there with less than 15. He only had about 10, 12 yards, and he booms one out of there. And then Rice just can't get free. Tried to go around the left side. I'd like to have seen him come straight up the middle with that one. I think he had some room up the middle.
Again, the Wasps with excellent field position. They'll start from the Apprentice 42, 6:17 to go until the half. Emory leads at 28-7. 3 receivers in this formation. Short is in the gun. Jordan to his left. Builders blitz. Short hit as he throws. Pass is caught. Oh, that's a beautiful grab by Ford, but a great job as Short was hit by Denzel Porter. Stayed in the pocket. Gets it down to the 19.
Josh, he took a shot right there, and he threw that one off of his back foot as he was falling, and just a strike.
Down to the 19. Emory quickly to the line. They give us to Jordan. Off right tackle. Jordan to the 15. Dives forward inside the 10. He reaches forward. He's very close to the first down, and they'll give it to him. First and goal coming up from Emory at the 9. A gain of 10 for Jordan.
Jordan is having his best day of the young season here. It's third game over 100, but he's really produced this rushing attack for the Wasps.
First and goal from the 9, and Apprentice is going to call timeout. It's 5:44 to go until the half, and boy, Emory and Henry trying to add another one here before the half. They have scored 28 unanswered. They lead at 28-7, but Gary, it's been the Emory defense that has set up this offense throughout this first half.
They sure have. And thanks to Morgan, the punter for the Builders. But, yeah, they've had outstanding field position all day long. Their worst field position started at the 39-yard line, their own 39-yard line. And that's not, when you've got that short field, you put a lot of stress on the defense.
I think Live Stats just updated. Gary, what's Jordan got now in this game?
He's up to 824 yards on 9 carries and 3 touchdowns. What a day he's having, his best by far.
Did I hear that right? So a third of the time he's touched the football, he's scored.
I think that's what I said. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a pretty good percentage.
Right, it is. I'll take that batting average 333 any day.
So after the timeout, the Wasps come out first and goal, I should say, at the Builders 9. Twin backfield for Emory and Henry, 3 receivers. Jordan to the left is Short, Montgomery to the right. Short ready for the snap. He has got Griffith, Rice, and Cozy as receivers. Builders show blitz. Short's going to keep it. Right off tackle, gets inside the 5, and he dives forward to about the 6.
Good play by Kyle Short that time to pull it and take it up into the middle because they had that shut down for Montgomery on that left side. Good play, good read by that young quarterback. Second
and goal now for Emory, and this time at the Apprentice 6. This time they'll go single back to the left side of Short. That's Jordan. 3 receivers in the formation on second and goal from the 6. Single coverage at the top of the field with Rice. Blitz coming. They throw that way. They were looking for Rice on the slant. Pass falls incomplete. Well defended out there. Single coverage was Jackson.
Yeah, a lot of contact from Jackson. Rice felt like it might have been a flag, but he did have inside leverage on Harris, so just couldn't hold on to the ball.
Brings up third and goal now for the Wasps at the 6. About the same formation. They've got Griffith, Cozy, and Rice, wide receivers. Short in the gun with Jordan to his left. On third and goal, Short's going to keep it. Short trying to get to the outside. Great block by Rice. He blocked 2 Builders on the end, and Kyle Short's into the end zone from 6 yards out.
A little quarterback keeper going around that left side, and you're right. Elijah Rice, great effort on those blocks.
So the Wasps into the end zone again in this first half, and they balloon the lead up even more. It's 34-7. And a good job again by Short there. They were keying in on Jordan that whole drive there at the inside the red zone. And Short goes in, and again, Rice picked off 2 Builder defenders. Snap down, Snutherly the hole, the kick for Jones, and the kick is good. And with 5:01 to go, Emory and Henry exploding now. They lead at 35-7.
You know, and Camden Beecraft, the offensive coordinator, he couldn't be happier with Kyle Short's maturity in this quarterback. You know, we started the season, Josh, we had 2 quarterbacks, weren't sure which one was going to start. I remember talking with the coaching staff, and they even said, what do you think? Yeah, how about giving us some help? Of course, they were joking because they could care less what I think. But
I care.
Yeah, but Kyle Short, I don't think there's any doubt who the quarterback is right now. He's maturing in there. He's making some great calls, and I think Camden Beecraft, as the offensive coordinator, is feeling more comfortable about the situations that he puts him in.
You know, it's a combination. It's cause and effect. When your defense is giving you short fields and you're running the football as a quarterback, we have a lot of things that you can do. And, you know, when you're getting ready to open up that offense, that's huge. That's why Emory's got 35 on the board right now.
Absolutely. You're exactly right. And amazingly, the Builders still have the time of possession, which, again, speaks to this short field that the Wasps have had.
Jones kicks it down to 𝘫erdy at the 2. 𝘫erdy at the 10 follows the numbers to the 15, gets away from 1 defender, doesn't go away from 2 defenders. Boy, the Wasps have done a good job of getting the coverage inside the 20-yard line. First man there was Gage Mannon, and then he was joined by several others. So the Builders will start again inside their 20-yard line at the 19.
Boy, they have had some really poor field position, and this defense has capitalized on it. And, you know, Newsom spent a lot of time on special teams, and, he kind of told them, said, I'm not spending all this time for you all to go out there and waste it, so you'd better perform on Saturday.
They certainly have today in all phases. They lead at 35-7. Tatum will be in the pistol on 1st and 10 from the 19. Now he'll go to the gun. Tejada to his left. Actually, check that's Reed. Reed trying to get to the outside, and he's grabbed from behind. They might get, I don't know if it's a horse collar or a hold, but a flag went down at the 21-yard line. The tackle was made by Jordan Mighty, but I don't know. He might have grabbed the back of the jersey against Reed, and that could be 15 yards again. And that's what it is. Yeah, it's going to be a horse. I think it was a horse collar, but they've called it as a face mask. But either way, it was too high there on the grab. And, gosh, the Wasps, if there's one thing they've not done well in this first half is the penalties right now.
Yeah, I think with our over 60 yards, but 60 yards of penalty. But that's probably not an updated number. It's probably more like 75.
Yeah, it will be. So the Builders, after the face mask, have it 1st and 10 at the 36. Tatum stays in the gun. He'll go Reed to his right. Play action from Tatum. Rolls right. Steps up. Throws over the right side, and pass is caught at the 47. First down gain. Tackled by Law was the receiver there. I believe it was Goodman. I believe the catch there at the little bit of a comeback route, and it's a gain up to the 47. Actually, check that. It's Nick Pierce for a first down.
Well, Rasheed Ellis pressure on Tatum right away, but he was able to escape that pressure and extend that play until he found an open receiver.
4:24 and counting left in this first half. And, boy, the Builders do need a score in the worst way. They're down 28. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the 47. Tatum will stay in the pistol. Now goes to the gun with Reed to his right. Emory shows blitz. Tatum throws short. Pass is caught. Short gain. Nice tackle against Nick Pierce by T.J. Payne on the little bit of a rub route there. No gain to the 47.
Yeah, Payne playing that strong safety position came up quick to shut that down. It looked like it had some potential, but he shut it down quick.
You know, on a play like that, Gary, you know, as a defender, you usually have to fight through like a pick just to even get to that play, and Payne did a good job of that. 2nd and 10 now for the Builders as we're under 4 minutes, 3:36 to be exactly in this first half. Emory 35, Apprentice 7. Tatum again will be in the gun. Reed to his right on 2nd and 10. They'll put a tight end in motion. That's Pierce to the right side. Tatum, play action. Tatum steps up, throws over the middle of the field, and the pass is caught. Beautiful catch over the middle, over the shoulder grab by Pierce. against nicely down to the Emory 27.
Well, Pierce was the tight end that stepped back and went into motion, and because he was moving when the ball was snapped, it gives you a little bit of an extra edge on a defender, and he's able to beat his defender downfield. And Tatum, boy, he stands in there well for a sophomore quarterback.
The deepest penetration of the game so far for this Apprentice offense. They've got it at the Emory 27. Receivers to either side. Tatum will be in the gun with Reed to his left on 1st and 10 from the 27 of Emory. Tatum to throw. Tatum under pressure, hit as he throws, and it goes into the ground, and a flag comes out late. 𝘽𝙪𝙢𝙢𝙢 came around the right side and pressured Tatum to throw that ball into the turf. Flag is down at the 28, though, and I'm not sure where this came from. It came from the side judge.
I thought 𝘽𝙪𝙢𝙢 was held, and I thought maybe that's what the flag, but you're right. It came from the side judge, so I'd be surprised if it is a hold.
It came down just as the football was hitting the turf. They're going to call interference. I don't know about that. That ball had no chance of being completed. I don't know. I mean, if anything, maybe a hold, but I don't know about that. And it's a questionable call. So this is going to be interference call is made.
And I think it's against Ivan Phil, I think, but that ball went straight down into the ground.
And they've got it marked at the 26. That's surprising there a little bit, but Phillips, I think, was a little surprised too, as are we. So it's a 1st and 10 call coming up here for the Builders at the Emory 26. Tatum trying to go to work from under center. They're trying to set up the screen, and the Wasps defend it very well. Hanging back there was DeAndre Chambliss. He saw Corpus coming out, leaking out on the screen. The pass falls incomplete.
Wasps done a really good job on the screen passes and plays this today. They've only this little slip screen I think they threw earlier worked for the Builders, but none of these inside screens have.
The Builders do run those screens very well, so Emory's done their homework. We knew that they would come out with a lot of those screens today, and the Wasps, for the most part, like you said, Garrett, done a good job defending it. They're being 2nd and 10 now for the Builders at the Emory 26, 2:41 to go the half, and Emory leads it by 28. Tatum in the gun, he'll throw on 2nd down. Tatum steps up in the pocket, throws short, pass is incomplete. Good coverage out there in the flat. He was looking for Pierce, and T.J. Payne there right over him at the 24.
Good coverage and good pressure by that front four. They are really bringing the pressure. It seems like it's getting more and more intense, and they're forcing Tatum just to throw him in the ground.
Looks like a little bit of some stunt action now for that end for the Wasps to get free.
Well, I'm telling you, DeAndre Chambliss and 𝘽𝙪𝙢𝙢𝙢 and Rasheed Ellis, Donovan Penix. Those are some good football players.
Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Builders at the Emory 26. Empty backfield for Tatum. 5 wide on 3rd and 10. Tatum drops back. Emory brings the blitz. 𝘽𝙪𝙢𝙢 hits him as he throws, and the pass to the end zone is incomplete. They were looking for Goodman on the post, and, boy, Tatum had to get rid of that in a hurry. Falls incomplete.
Well, even though he's having to throw off his back foot and getting hit, that ball could have been caught.
It could have.
I mean, that was not a bad throw. I am really impressed with this young quarterback. Yeah, both quarterbacks are playing well today.
It's when you make a throw like that with 𝘽𝙪𝙢𝙢 running right at you, that's pretty good. Morgan will attempt a 43-yarder from the left hash to try to get Apprentice on the board here in the 2nd quarter. Snap is down. Morgan's kick on the way. Got plenty of distance. We knew that. And the kick is no good. He missed it to the left. Been a rough day for Morgan so far. And the 43-yarder had plenty of leg, but off to the left.
It sure did. He had plenty of leg into that. Shanked it over to the left. He's had a hard time shanking punts and kicks today.
So the Wasps, Gary, with 2:24 to go, they'll take over at their own 26 and still with 2 timeouts, leading at 35-7. So chance for the Wasps to look for some more points.
Plenty of time. You can run your whole offense. You've got 2 timeouts and over 2 minutes, so plenty of time.
Short in the gun. He'll have 3 receivers. Jordan to his left, to his right. It'll be Jordan getting the handoff, diving forward, just follows the blocking of O.P. Peterson up to the 30. It'll be a gain of 4.
Smart play. I'd give it to Jordan, too, as with the game he's having today.
Wasp in a little bit of a hurry up here. They'll quickly to the line as we approach 2 minutes to go in this first half. 2nd and 6 coming up for Emory at their own 30. Short will be in the gun. Again, play action. Short throws over the middle. Pass is incomplete, but this is going to be a flag as Griffith was grabbed out of his route by Christian Walker over the middle. And when you've got a linebacker against a wide receiver, that's advantage wide receiver, and Walker grabbed him at the 45.
Yeah, and, they run a nice play action to Jordan, you got to pay attention to that. And then Gunnar Griffith runs that post across the middle. And there's only one thing you could do is either hold him or let him score.
So the flag against the Builders moves Emory to the 45. Clock is stopped with 1:56 left in this opening half. And Emory looking for another score here to go into the halftime here. Wasps do get the second half kickoff too. They lead at 35-7. Short to throw on first down. Pump fake. It's a hitch and go. He's looking for Griffith on the right sideline, and he overshoots him there. Good coverage down the field by Harris. He was with him step for step.
Yeah, Short threw the ball about the only place he could throw it other than get it intercepted. Gunnar Griffith was covered all the way on that hitch and go.
And Harris, who already has an interception return for a touchdown, he's drawn the tough assignment so far out there for the Builders. 2nd and 10 now for Emory at their own 45. The Wasps go 4 wide this time. Jordan to the right side of Short.
Rice up at the top, single coverage.
2 deep safeties at the bottom. Short. Play act. Oh, it's going to be a screen to Jordan. Jordan to midfield, dives forward. Second effort, he is just short of the first down. A little bit of a dump off there over the middle. It'll be a gain of almost 8. It'll bring up 3rd and 2 as we approach 1:30 left.
Yeah, I think that was screen all the way with Jordan. I don't think he didn't get enough blockers out in front of him.
They give him a forward progress, though, to the 46.
Nice
It's a nice spot, yeah, indeed. 3rd and 1. To give us to Jordan. Stutter steps, got a first down. Jordan dives forward inside the 40, down to the 39, a gain of about 7. Clock stops momentarily with 1:18 to go to move the chains.
Let's watch this time for a little play action, something up at the top with Cozy.
1:12 and counting, 1st and 10 Wasps now to the Apprentice 39. 4 receivers in the formation. Short in the gun, he'll throw. So short pass is caught by Griffith, and then he'll step out of bounds. Just an out pattern out to about the 35-yard line. Clock stops with 1:01 to go, gain of 4.
Ever since the Rice burned them on that man-to-man coverage, they've been playing soft. They've very rarely been up in anybody's face playing press coverage.
2nd and 6 now for the Wasps at the Apprentice 35. 1:01 to go till the half. 35-7 Emory. Short in the gun with 4 wide. Short ready for the snap. They give us to Jordan right up the gut. Stutter steps inside the 35, and he's grabbed at about the 33-yard line and wrestled down there. And the Wasps will burn their second timeout with 53 seconds left in the opening half.
Yeah, you kind of have to do it there because you got 3rd down coming up, and you don't want to have to rush into that because you do have a scoring opportunity here.
You do. You do. Joshua Lee on the stop there for the Builders. And the Wasps, certainly this game did not start off well for Emory and Henry in the first few minutes. The offense couldn't get going, and then there was a defensive touchdown for the Builders. And the Builders at one time were up 7-0 and had all the momentum. And then the Emory defense really started making amends and really has shifted things over advantage Wasps right now.
They have, and the Builders came out with, 5 wide outs, 4 wide outs, and throwing the ball all over the field. But now since that time, the pressure on Tatum, the quarterback, has been immense. So it is they've kind of taken them out of the rhythm, I think. The Emory Henry defense has taken the Builders out of their rhythm. And then, of course, too, this short field that they've been able to hand over to the offense has been a real plus. So
it's 3rd and 3 out of the timeout for the Wasps at the Builder 33. 53 seconds left in the half. Wasps need 3 yards, almost 4 yards here on 3rd and 4 from the 33. Short in the gun, he'll throw. Short with time. Pump fakes. He's looking deep left side, and he overshoots Cozy, and the pass is intercepted. Cozy went to the deep out, and this ball almost went to the flag route, and the pass is intercepted at the 1-yard line by the Builders. Intercepted on the play by Hunter, who had that interception return last week.
Well, that was just a poor choice by Short. He was not open. There were a couple of guys around Cozy being at 5'4". He's not going to win any jump balls, and maybe should have just taken that one, tried to turn it up and see what you could get.
I think they're going to say that Hunter's foot was in the end zone, so they're going to call this a touchback. And after the interception, or maybe his knee, I think Hunter's knees went down as he was catching that football at the goal line. So instead of the 1, the Builders will have it at the 20 with 46 seconds to go. They still have a timeout here. Let's see what the Builders try to do here down 28. So it would have been a whole lot different if they were at the 1 versus the 20.
Yeah.
So it'll be Tatum in the pistol, 4 receivers. Wasps are going to drop 8 in coverage here on 1st and 10. Tatum drops back. He'll throw. Tatum steps up, throws short, pass is caught short, and immediately tackled at the 21-yard line was Goodman. Nice open field tackle out there by Payne. Clock on the move, 34 seconds left of the half.
Really good job, Payne, coming up to make that tackle for almost no gain. The Wasps have both safeties deep, so they're kind of in a prevent but not full prevent mode.
Almost, well, with another backer back there in TJ Tester, almost like a cover 3 right now. 16 seconds and counting here. 2nd and 9 for the Builders, thrown 21, maybe the last play of the half. It'll be Tatum in the gun, 1 back to his left. Tatum will throw, pump fake, throws on the slant, pass is caught, and diving up for the first down is 𝘽𝙪 as he has it to the 32. 1 second left in the half.
Well, and you'll give them that play all day long, and then there is the half.
So at the half, Emory and Henry with 35 straight, Gary, after getting down 7-0, and it didn't look good for the first 8 to 10 minutes of this one. Wasps got it in order, and their offense has been strong for the most part. They lead at 35-7.
Yeah, they didn't come out of the chute quite the way they wanted to, and you don't know how much hangover effect that could have been from last week because that was such a tough loss. But, boy, the defense has come out and decided they're going to make a statement here, and they certainly have.
Just makes things, Gary, so much simpler when your defense is forcing short fields and they're turning the tide in this game. It just makes things so much easier.
It's so you're so right about that. It makes it easier on the offensive coordinator to call the plays and not put his quarterback in situations that he's just got to perform. So taking a lot of pressure off of a young quarterback, and it's good to see this defense. They have played quite a bit of time. I'm not sure the exact amount of time, but they have been out on the field quite a bit. But there have been no long drives. You remember last week there's a couple of long drives that were really surprising that the Emory Henry defense would give those up, but you're not seeing that today.
No, and so far so good. Nice bounce back for the Wasps here in the first 30 minutes as they lead at 35-7. We'll send it back to WEHC Studios. Bill McKee, as always, on the board. Stay tuned for our halftime show with David St. Clair and another edition of his halftime show, where we'll rejoin you with a full comprehensive look at first half statistics, and then the second half here at Fred Self Athletic Stadium's nice Wander Field. At the half, it's Emory Henry 35, the Apprentice School 7. You're listening to Emory Henry College Football on 90.7 WEHC, the voice of Southwest Virginia. We're wrapping up some food. I'd say, what do you think, Gary? 3 minutes? 4 minutes? About 3-4 minutes? That'd be okay? Thank you. All right. As always, back here at halftime, and it's a good one. Certainly, the Wasps. If you're a Wasps fan, you got to like this first half effort. As the Wasps down 7-0 at one point, score 35 unanswered, and they lead at 35-7. And Gary has had a chance to peruse the statistics and has put his great mind to it. And yes, some big things are jumping out of those statistics, and some odd ones too.
Yeah, well, the first thing that the officials have been busy. 14 flags have been thrown so far, almost 150 yards of penalties on both teams combined. But the one you look at this stat of time of possession. You've got the Builders have 19 minutes of time TOP and opposed to 10 for the Wasps. And you think, I can't be behind 28 points. How could I be behind 4 touchdowns when I've dominated the time of possession?
Right. Yeah, that is, time of possession can be very misleading. It is, in a lot of cases, it is an indicator of success. When you think of Randolph-Macon and you think of Washington and Lee, for example. But you're right, Gary, in this one, the Wasps have had the ball 10 minutes, but it's been the placement on the field and it's been the efficiency and the scoring that the Wasps have had.
Yeah, you and I were looking at some of these numbers. Some of these drives have taken 51 seconds to score 7 points, 1 minute and 6 seconds to score, and a minute and 16 seconds. One of them, the one to Elijah Rice for 61 yards, is showing it a 2-second drive. I don't think that's right, but it may be a little bit underestimated. But that's what's happened. The Wasps are scoring so quickly that it's putting the Builders back out there, and that's a testament to the offense that they're so high-powered. But again, to me, it's a testament to this tough Emory Henry defense that plays a lot of time and still holding the opponent to 7 points right now.
Statistically speaking, we talk about the time of possession being somewhat misleading. One statistic which is not is the 3rd down and 4th down conversions. Last week, Apprentice was approaching 50%. Today, Gary, it's the other way around.
Oh, boy, it's anemic. It's like at 11%. It's 1 for 9 on 3rd down conversions for the Builders. And, boy, you know you're not – that's what makes this – it's so misleading. TOP at 19 minutes, but you've effectively only converted 1 3rd down and 0 4th downs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and meanwhile on the other side, Gary, you like to see 50% out of Emory and Henry. Anything above 40% is gravy, I think.
Well, that's the Wasps' goal. They want to come in at 50% of 3rd down conversions. Most winning football programs are going to be 50% or more, and that's what they are right now. Last week, going back to that again, though, we were at 50%. We were over 50% at halftime with that game and did very poorly in the second half. 1 for 8 in the second half. Boy, you just don't come out of that locker room flat. That's the biggest thing and the hardest thing, I think. When you're up 35-7, having it your way is not to come out of that locker room flat.
And a couple of things that really jump out in these statistics. You've talked about them, Gary, that 3rd down, 4th down conversions are pretty much null and void for the Builders. But the Wasp defense, 18 carries, 17 yards. They've pretty much taken out the rush. And really the Builders down 28. You're probably not going to see a whole lot of carries, from this group the rest of the way. And that's, as a defense, that's effective. When you take out a big part of an opposing team's, especially the running attack, like you said, if that happened to Emory, Emory would be in trouble. And,
yeah.
I think that's a large part of why it's 35-7 right now.
Yeah, the Wasps have done, Penix and Chambliss and Swagheimer and, Ellis, they have done such a good job. And then the 2 linebackers, Ivan Phillips and Brent Butler's been all over the field, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and they lead the way with tacklings. Not surprised when they've got 6 and 5 respectively. But Gary, I know you had a little bit of oohs and ahs, on some of these. But gosh, Devontae Jordan showing us a little bit, even more today, in the open field.
He is. He is really. He's 13 carries, 147 yards. His longest was a 45-yard run. He came into the game, we talked about it, at number 8 in the nation with 258 yards rushing. He's added 147 to that, and he has just looked outstanding. And I think Grayson Overstreet can just relax, take his time to get better, and I think Jordan will be just fine with that.
Yeah, 147 of the Wasps overall total at 309, so 147. And actually, if you throw in Jordan's 9-yard reception, Jordan has half of your offense. 156 of 309. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, if you're half the offense, it's and it's. I think it's surprising to the Builders because I think they felt like they could shut down the run. They did last week, only giving up 10 yards, and today, nowhere close to that. So.
No, it isn't, and certainly, Gary, you touched upon it in the game earlier in the game. You know, Kyle Short's numbers, he's 7 of 16 for 120 yards. He's thrown a touchdown and thrown 2 interceptions. You think, ooh, you know, what a rough half. But Gary, you talked about it. It's the decision making that has been the important thing in this first half.
It really is. He made one poor decision throwing that interception down at the goal line, trying to hit Cozy when he was double covered. But there's been several plays where he's pulled the ball and run. You know, that it wasn't there. He's thrown the ball away because it just wasn't open. He's had a few miscues with Gunnar Griffith. They don't seem to be in sync today. But it's just the maturity of Kyle Short that seems to be blossoming here for me. He doesn't panic. He doesn't make bad mistakes. And I think he's, maturing daily or, every week with this Wasp offense. And I give the credit, too, a lot to the coaching staff, for having the confidence in him and sticking with him, and the play calling not to put him in situations where he can make mistakes.
Yeah, and I think you see the same type of smart decisions on the other end as well. And again, you might say, well, it's 35-7, but again, I've been really, you and I have both been really impressed with the play of sophomore quarterback Mason Tatum. He's 10 of 21 and has 100 yards. But, man, the Emory front line has harassed him most of the game. He's only been sacked once, and he's done a really good job of getting around pressure. I really like the way he plays.
I do, too. He's got a strong arm. He stays calm and collected back there. And he's had white jerseys and yellow helmets in his face all day long.
We are just a few moments away from the start of the second half. Again, if you'll remember, the Wasps won the toss, and they deferred to the second half. And so they will get the football to start things here in the third quarter. And the Wasps will be going right to left on your radio dial from the home side, or if you're streaming us, we're glad you're with us here for another Saturday of Emory Henry football. Stay tuned next Saturday, too, because the Wasps will be back again. They'll have their third straight home game next week. Well, they'll start their play against ODAC competition. It'll be Bridgewater here at a 1 o'clock kick. Second half is underway. Ball's going to take a bounce and go down to the up man at the 12-yard line. Actually, that's Snotherly. Cade Snotherly reverses field, gets to the 25. Snotherly to the 30. Accelerates to the 35. A nice return by the sophomore out of Franklin, North Carolina. And Wasp, again, with good field position and a great special teams
really
play.
Nice return right there. And then trying to get some of these other talented special teams people into the game.
We mentioned Snotherly a lot because he's the holder for the kicks, but he's a sophomore wideout, and but he transferred in from Western Carolina, and certainly showing his speed there on special teams. So there'll be Short back out there to start things. 1st and 10 for the Wasps, zone 37. He'll be in the gun. Jordan to his left. 3 receivers in this formation. Short to give us to Jordan. Jordan right off the right tackle, gets to the 40, dives forward. Nice acceleration there after the initial point of contact. Gets up 4, maybe 5 yards on first down. You'll take 5 on first every day.
Every day you'll take that. And the Builders have they're not as aggressive on defense right now. They're taking those linebackers and moving them back and creating some running lanes for the Jordan and the Wasp.
2nd and about 5 for the Wasps at the 42. Identical formation for Short, who's in the gun with Jordan to his left. They give us to Jordan again. He'll try left tackle. 45, nice block by Cozy. He's into Builder territory, does Jordan, down to the 46-yard line. That's a gain of 13. Nice block out there by Cozy to the inside.
It was a nice block by Cozy, and it was set up by Jordan, and the little juke fake that he gave to the inside and enabled Cozy to make that block. Boy, I like the start of this.
Wasps now, Gary, approaching almost 200 yards in rushing so far. They'll have it at the Builder 46 on 1st and 10. Again, 3 receivers for Short. This time he'll have Montgomery to the left side on this drive. Montgomery will get it. He'll try the right side. Montgomery gets outside to the 45, accelerates to the 40 before he's stood up out of bounds at about the 41-yard line, a gain of 5.
Well, Newsom would like to see nothing better in this ground game, just crunching down the field and taking up the clock and putting another score on the scoreboard. But the Wasps have come out and decided they're going to run.
And the Wasps are not short at running back. Montgomery comes in, the true freshman, and he runs with purpose. 2nd and 5 for Emory now at the Apprentice 41. Short will be in the gun. Montgomery again to his right. Short. The play action. Short under pressure. Gets away somehow from a defender. Gets to the 40 and gets out of bounds. Somehow he got away from Massey Jr. from a sack, and a good job for Short to get it up to the 39.
And he steps out of bounds and avoids the contact. You don't want your quarterback going for one more yard, a 35-7 game. Get out of bounds and save your body.
3rd and 3 now for Emory and Henry at the Apprentice 39. Again, 3 receivers in the formation. Short in the gun. Jordan to his right. Press coverage at the top of the field with Griffith. Safety help on the bottom of the field against Cozy and Rice. Pistol formation now on 3rd and 3. They give us to Jordan. Jordan is hit. Jordan bounces off a tackle. He's got a first down. Still going. Inside the 35, inside the 30, and down at the 27. He appeared to be stopped for about 2 yards by Dominic Jordan, and Devontae Jordan accelerates down for a first down.
Devontae, he bounced off that tackle. He should have been on the ground. I think they're shaking their heads. How did he get down there? But nice second effort by Devontae Jordan.
Jordan accumulating the yards here, Gary. He's more moving towards 200 right now. 1st and 10, Emory now at the Builder 27. Short in the gun. Play action. Throws deep down the right side to the numbers. It's Gunnar Griffith. Gets away and he scores. He splits the double team. Gunnar Griffith from 27 yards out, and the Wasps are blowing this thing open. They lead it 41-7.
Nice throw by Kyle Short to hit Gunnar Griffith right in between 2 defenders. Then Gunnar Griffith does some fancy footwork down there at the end zone to take it in. Nice drive. Lots of action on the ground, and then they pop up and hit a post pattern to Gunnar Griffith.
And, Gary, what you like to see out of the locker room is production on offense, just like that.
Yeah, exactly. And we've talked about that before, not coming out flat.
Snotherly to hold. Kick by Jones is up, and it is good. And Emory and Henry adds to its lead as Kyle Short with a nice touchdown throw there, his 2nd of the day, to Gunnar Griffith, his 1st touchdown of the day. And Emory, it's all Wasps now. They lead at 42-7.
Well, not what you want to see if you're a builder out of Apprentice, but you'd hope that defense come out and make a statement. But, boy, nice drive, nice call. Really glad to see that rushing attack take hold. And
yeah,
you can't say enough about Devontae Jordan and his running.
Yeah, he has been just electric today. He shows a little bit of his versatility there with bouncing off tackles. We've already seen his acceleration in the field, but I've been really impressed at the point of contact. He does not go down on that initial contact. And on 3rd and 2, there it looked like the Builders had stopped Emory, but Jordan just bounces off a tackler. Ho-hum, it's 13 yards later for a first down.
Yeah, and you mentioned being nearing 200. Wasp at 225 for the day on the ground game.
I think Coach Newsom would love to see that above 200 at every game. Jones to kick, and it's a good one. And this is going to go into the end zone for a touchback. 6 yards deep. Best kick out of there by Jones. And, boy, the special teams from Emory, it's a 180 this week.
Yeah, they got lots of attention during the week. And, you're talking about he'd like to see 200 every week. That was a big concern because they shut Bavard down 10 yards rushing last week on 26 carries. You mentioned that. That's 0.4 yards per carry. And I think right now that 225 yards, they're at something like 9.4 yards per carry for the
almost
Wasps.
A first down every carry.
Yeah, almost.
So 1st and 10 for the Builders after the touchback at the 25. Tatum will be in the gun. And he'll give to Tejada off the left side. Nice trip up there by T.J. Payne coming off the block to stop Tejada, who has a gain up to about the 29.
Yeah, I thought Tejada was going to go for more yardage than that, but T.J. Payne closed that gap running through the alley and just took his feet out from under him.
It was 4-yard gain there for Tejada. Brings up 2nd and 6 for the Builders. 11:40 to go in this 3rd quarter, and it's been all Emory and Henry since the first few minutes. They lead at 42-7. Builders out of the huddle. They'll go to the pistol formation initially. 3 receivers in the formation. They'll have Pierce slot left. Now he'll line up as a tight end. Gun formation now for Tatum. Tatum to throw on second down. Tatum hit as he throws over the middle. Nice grab on the bottom there, almost hitting the turf. But coming up and making a nice grab over the middle was Pierce, and he's got the first down to the 36 on that drag route.
Yeah, and Addison nicely from that free safety came in to close it down. But still, it was enough for a first down, and that's the second conversion they've made on third downs today.
Yeah,
so.
Just the second one overall. I think that makes them, Gary, 2 of 10.
2 of 10. They're up to 20% now.
That's a nice grab by Pierce, getting that ball off the turf. That ball, no one else had a chance to catch that but Pierce. It's first down gain to the 36. The Builders will have it there. They'll have receivers to either side, double tight ends. They'll have Tatum in the gun with Tejada to his left. Play action from Tatum. Tatum hit as he throws again, and this time he overshoots a receiver. He was looking for Pierce again. There is a marker down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, I think you're going to have holding on the Builders there. Let's see, number Shambliss. Deontay Shambliss in there putting pressure. I think he was held.
And Gary is correct. That is the hold. It's a call. It'll be a 10-yarder backing up the Builders down to the 26. So the penalties continue now for the Builders. That's their 8th penalty in this one overall. First half, both teams had 7 penalties.
Yeah, both teams had. The Builders, if they're not careful, they're going to outgain themselves with penalties over the rushing.
1st and 20 after the hold, back to the 26. Tatum will start in the pistol. Receivers to either side, double tight ends again. And again, it will be Tejada to the left side on 1st and 20. Tatum to throw. Tatum looks left, loads up, goes deep down the right of the field, and the pass is caught. Single coverage out there as Leland Gertie, as he makes the grab on the post route down to the Emory 36.
Well, Tatum just threaded the needle right there. Crimes had a good coverage on him, but he just threaded the needle right there, and big gainer for the Builders, and boy, they needed it right there, 1st and 20.
38-yard gain there to Gertie. That's the longest completion of the game for the Builders, and they're at the Emory 36. And Tatum really stepped into that throw.
Yeah.
Receivers to either side. Again, Tatum will be in the gun on 1st and 10. Late give to Tejada. Tries to get to the outside. A flag. This is going to go against the Builders for another hold as Jay Swegheimer was in pursuit and then got grabbed. Also, I think it was also Rasheed Ellis got grabbed too.
Yeah, they could have picked either one. Just pick whichever you want. Swegheimer would have shut that down. I don't think he'd have got around the edge if he hadn't have been held.
Kurt Newsom looking like a referee there, signaling the first down, but it's just pointing the left side. He pointed 4 times. The official asked him a couple times, and he said, yes, let's take it. So a holding call, second one of this drive, will back up the Builders to make it 1st and 20. 10:05 to go, third quarter. 42-7, Emory Henry leads it. But just a minute ago, the Builders converted on 1st and 20. They're in 1st and 20 again, back to the Emory 46. Tatum in the gun, Tejada to his left. Tatum will drop back. Tatum looking, under pressure. Looking, now takes off, gets away, does not get away from Butler, but Butler drags him down at about the 39. Tatum almost got away from Butler, but it'll be a gain of about 6, maybe 7.
Once Butler got a hold of him, he just kind of started to drag him backwards. I think it's a good thing he went out of bounds, but Brett Butler's just having an outstanding game. He had a good one last week. He's not a very big guy, but he certainly has some strength, and that time he showed it by pulling Tatum back.
It's a gain of officially of about 8. Brings up 2nd and 12 now for the Builders at the Emory 38. Receivers to either side for Tatum. He'll be in the gun. One tight end right. Tatum will throw. Flag comes down. Tatum over the middle. Pass is intercepted. Addison nicely has it. Nicely with the return down to the 32. Let's check the flag. Flags went down immediately. This is either going to be offsides or an illegal formation, one of the two. Flags went down by both side judges on the play. And here comes the call. It's an illegal formation against the Builders, and so give the interception to Addison nicely.
Addison nicely prevails. Again, I think they covered up another receiver on the outside there, but nicely stepping in and picking that one off.
Nicely, the sophomore out of Mount Crawford, Fort Defiance High School. They're very rich talent in that Shenandoah Valley. And he gets his interception. He'll probably get the turnover belt. Yep, there it comes out there on the sideline.
Sanders Henderson is in charge of that turnover belt, and he doesn't give it up easily.
So the turnover belt nicely has it, and the Wasps will take over at the 32-yard line. 9:18 to go in this third quarter. Emory leading at 42-7. And the first time we've seen Carter Everett, he will be in the game for quarterback for the Wasps. Everett gives the handoff to Jordan. Jordan reverses field. Second effort, third effort, and he'll lose yardage back to the 30. Everett, the sophomore transfer out of Elizabethton, first action he's seen today.
Yeah, and, at the start of the season, Everett and Short were competing. They went to North Carolina Wesleyan. I think Everett started. So,
yeah, you're correct. Yeah, absolutely. And Everett will stay in the gun. He'll have 3 receivers in the formation. Jordan to his right on 2nd and 12. Play action. Everett's going to throw. Loads up and overshoots Griffith at the 45. He's looking for the slant there. Nice job there by Harris to raise his arms there to not he was close enough there. He might have been guilty of an interference call if he grabs Griffith. Good job there to hold off.
Yeah, it could have been close there. It was close, but, and Everett is the quarterback that Tony Hart had said one of the quarterback coach that has the better arm between him and Short.
He loaded up there just a little bit too high for Griffith. It's going to bring up 3rd and 12 now. And the Wasps going to keep it on the ground here to Jordan. Jordan maybe gets to the line of scrimmage, maybe gets a yard, and that's it. So the Builders, from one of the few times here in the last 3 quarters of this game, they will force an Emory punt.
Yeah, not a particularly good series for the Wasps that time, but you got a new quarterback in there, and, you have to get in sync. I don't care who you are, but and they got to get some playing time for Carter Everett because he's one play away from being a starter.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And it'll give a chance for Garrett Morgan to put his foot into this one. 𝘬rdy is back deep at his own 27. Morgan's kick in the air, away from 𝘬rdy towards the sideline. It'll take a bounce out of bounds at about the 34-yard line. So it'll be about a 35-yard punt from Morgan. No return for the Builders, and the Builders will have it 1st and 10 at the 34. 7:53 to go third quarter, trailing 42-7.
And we'd like to take a moment to thank some of our sponsors. Emory Henry Football is brought to you with the support from Tumbling Creek Cider Company, open daily at the Spring House on 112 Court Street in Abingdon and online at TumblingCreekCider.com.
Also, Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Snow's Fine Meats and Provision, the neighborhood butcher shop in downtown Abingdon. Open Tuesday through Saturday and online at snowsfinemeats.com, 160 East Main Street, Abingdon. And we'll get to our other underwriters here after the initial play here coming up from the Builders. They have it 1st and 10 from the 34. They give this to Tejada. Tejada is wrestled down to the ground, maybe a yard, as he's dropped by Ellis on the play.
And we're also brought to you with the support of First Bank and Trust. Mobile banking, they offer mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and so much more. They've been serving the community with free checking since 1979, and they're a member of the FDIC. Visit them on the web at firstbank.com.
And Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Food City, the food experts, locally owned and operated for more than 60 years with 130 convenient locations. Food City is proud to support Emory Henry College Football. We'll step away from our underwriters again here on 2nd and 8. The Builders have it from their 36. Tatum drops back. Tatum under pressure. Steps up in the pocket, gets away from pressure, and then slides down to about the 42-yard line, tackled by Nate Hamilton.
And Emory Henry Football is supported by Greco's, proud to bring the taste of our home to yours, serving Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee with locations in Abingdon and Johnson City. And you can visit their menu on the web at grecos.com.
And also, we're brought to you by the Bank of Marion and all their hometown community branches throughout the region. Bank of Marion, the home loan leader. 3rd and 2 coming up here from the Builders from their own 42. Emory with a loaded line there. Linebackers up. They have everybody at the front of the line here. Single receivers to either side. Tatum on the safety blitz gets away from Payne. Now throws deep down the middle of the field, and he can't get the receiver. Tatum there had a late call there, and a late flag comes in too.
Late flag. They're going to call the Wasps for interference here.
Late call indeed, as the interference there was looking at Goodman. The flag is down at the 31. Tatum wanted a roughing the passer call. That was not called, but interference is the call against Emory and Henry. That ball almost looked like it was uncatchable there.
Yeah.
And another 15-yarder for the Wasps.
Well, and we're approaching now 20 penalties for the game.
It gives the Builders a first down. As Emory went for the safety blitz there, Tatum did his job. He got away from it enough and got it in the air. And the interference call gives the Apprentice School a 1st and 10 at the Emory 43. 6:19 to go in this third quarter. Emory up 42-7. Tatum in the gun. He'll give it to the back off the right side. Diving forward and down to about the 40-yard line was Tejada. It'll be a gain of 3, and there's Tomlinson again on the stop.
Well, and T.J. Payne coming up from that safety position to close that down. Looked like Tejada was going to take that for a little more yardage, but T.J. Payne closed it quick. T.J. Payne almost got the quarterback Tatum on that blitz last play, but it was awfully close. Yeah, a lot of flags coming out today.
It's like leaves, coming down here. It's almost like leaves are falling, but it's flags. 2nd and 7 from the 40 of Emory. Tatum motions for his receiver to go in motion. That's 𝘽𝙪𝙤. Tatum drops back, rolls to his left, under pressure. Gets away from one defender, gets away from 2 defenders, and it'll depend on the spot. I think he got the first down, and he did. Down to the 32. Nice job of getting away from 2 Emory defenders. Nate Hamilton was the first to miss him at the 43, and then he runs away from Tomlinson for a first down.
Yeah, Tomlinson's showing some speed there for a defensive line. Of course, we've talked about him before on these kickoffs. He's really a force on the kickoffs too.
So Tatum shows again his scrambling ability there to get the first down, and the Builders will have it now at the Emory 32. They'll come out here with 2 tight ends, receivers to either side. Tatum will be in the gun. Tejada to his right. Tatum to throw. Looks left, throws short to Pierce. A little bit of like an inside screen there. The receiver cleared out, and Pierce gets it down to the 38 for when he's brought down by 𝘽𝙪𝙤𝙤 Law.
Yeah, you're right. A little screen there, almost like a rub route, but they're clearing it out for Tatum.
Gets almost 5 there. They do. We'll give him 5. Brings up 2nd down and 5 for the Builders as we are under 5 minutes and counting left in this third quarter. Wasps up 42-7. Receivers to either side. Again, double tight ends either side. It'll be Tatum in the gun. Tejada to his right on 2nd and 5. Again, Emory showing blitz. Here they come. Tejada trying to go against the blitz, and he spun down on the lay there. Nice tackle out there by Nate Hamilton. No gain.
Boy, Nate Hamilton coming up, blowing that play up. He's a junior linebacker, Josh, out of Belmont, North Carolina.
Yeah, he has played for a lot of this second half and definitely has been in the backfield here the last few plays. It'll bring up 3rd down and almost 5 here for the Builders at the Emory 27. Again, it'll be the same look. Tight ends to either side, receivers to either side for Tatum. Tatum will go to the gun with Tejada to his right. Tatum drops back. It's 3-step drop, throws short, pass is knocked away at the last minute at the 20-yard line. It looked like the receiver there, Graham, had it, but a nice rip away there of the football by, I believe, Ty Easley.
Yeah, Ty Easley up on single coverage down here by himself, press coverage, and he's able to reach in and pull the ball away, giving them 4th down. So I believe they're going to try a field goal right here.
Yeah, it'll be a 43-yarder. Actually, check that, a 44-yarder as the holder, Jarrett Gystad, moves back for Morgan. Morgan is 0 for 1 today. Kicking towards the field house. Snap is down. Kick on the way, and the kick, I think, was blocked. I think Jalen Crimes got a hand on it, and the kick is no good. And the Emory special teams, my word, continuing to make plays out here in this contest.
Josh, Coach Newsom told me the reason he called timeout when the score was 45-44 is that Jalen Crimes can block extra points and field goals, and he wanted to give him some time to rest or catch his breath. Well, we just saw Crimes block that field goal right there, and so turns out Newsom knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, so the Wasps will take over after the field goal block at the 27-yard line. 3:36 left in this third quarter, and Everett back out there for his second series for Emory with twin backs. They give us to Montgomery off right tackle. The freshman dives forward to the 32 all the way up to the 33. Montgomery runs hard. It'll be a gain of 6.
I like this move by the offensive coordinator, Beecraft, to put 2 backs out there with Everett because it makes it harder to defend. You've got now, I know I've got to cover 2 guys back there. May give Everett a little bit more chance to settle in.
Again, the twin back format with both Jordan and Montgomery at the 33 for Everett on second down, and we'll call it 4. Everett, the give us to Montgomery again, right up the gut. Montgomery a little bit less successful this go-around. He'll get it up to the 34-yard line. It'll be a gain of 1. Rashard Phipps on the stop for the Builders. It brings up 3rd and 3.
And that play right there, Josh, is a definite run. There's no RPO there. Everett's not looking to find out what that linebacker's doing. They're just trying to let him run some plays, get in the rhythm of the game.
Montgomery replaced by Brendan Stewart, who's a tight end, lines up to the left side on 3rd and 3. Everett to throw. Looks right, throws right, passes almost intercepted. And Harris almost got his second pick. He baited another's throw out there. The intended receiver was Ethan Muncie. And if that ball is up, Harris is going the other way for another 6.
Yeah, he surely was. And Everett just took the snap and reared back and threw it.
Yeah, looked that whole way, and Harris almost had his second, not only second interception, but he probably scores. So the Wasps will punt it away with 2:28 to go in this third quarter. Garrett Morgan back to kick. Good snap, and Morgan gets it away.
And
a little bit off the side of his foot, and it will go out of bounds. And the official still moving up the sideline all the way up to the 41. That is a 25-yard punt. So the Builders with good field position to start their next series.
Yeah. Garrett Morgan having that second punt in a row, it's kind of been a shank. Not as bad as the one last week that was 12 yards, but both of those going out of bounds. And they don't have the height to him either. He usually puts them way up above the lights. He's just out of sync or out of rhythm back there right now.
So the Builders take over at the 40, 2:20 to go in this third quarter. And again, Emory leads at 42-7. Pistol formation coming out here for the Builders, who have trips to the left side. They'll run a receiver in motion to the right side on 1st and 10. Tatum to throw. Looks deep right sideline, and he overshoots his man. It was a hitch and go to 𝘫erdy, and a good job by Nicely there to run with them the whole play. That ball missed him by 10 yards.
Yeah, Nicely did not bite on the hitch and had plenty of cushion back there to stay up with 𝘫erdy. Nicely doing a good job back there at the free safety position.
It'll bring up 2nd and 10 now for Emory Henry. For the Apprentice School at their own 40. Emory Henry with 4 down linemen. Builders counter with 3 receivers. Trips to the left side, single receiver right. Tatum in the pistol on 2nd and 10. The give is to the back on the right side. And a low run there by Reed, and Reed's going to be gobbled up. He gets back most of the yardage he would have lost. He still loses 1, and it was a host of defenders there. Gage Mannon there really forced that play to the inside. It'll be a loss of 1. Also, Jay Swegheimer, too.
I was going to say, Swegheimer is back there, too, and I didn't think he's going to get away from him. But the Builders continue racking up time of possession here, which they're closing in on 27 minutes of possession.
And down 35. That's something you don't see. 3rd and 11 for the Builders. 3 receivers set this time. Tatum will start out in the pistol. He'll move a man in motion across the right side of the field. That's 𝘫erdy. Tatum drops back. Tatum, under pressure, rolls to the left. Still rolling, being chased. Now dumps it short and incomplete. He was outside of the tackle box, and he throws short of the receiver there as Jay Swegheimer was chasing him the whole way.
Yeah, and DeAndre Chambliss I think he got, or excuse me, not Donovan Penix. I think he got blocked by 3 different offensive linemen there.
And still got back there.
Yeah, and still got back there. He what an effort.
So the Wasp will force a punt, and this is an area that Apprentice has struggled in today. And Morgan would like to get a good kickoff. Rice stands at about his own 21. Snap is good. Morgan gets it away. Another short kick. Wow. And this is going to go backwards, and it's still going backwards, and it's going to be at the 40. That is a 3-yard punt. 3. I mean, that's a great, if you're hitting a sand wedge, that's what you would want, but not you want that if you're a punter.
Well, it's almost as if he's punting the ball with his toe straight up and just kicking it straight up in the air. But the Wasps have definitely got into Morgan's head here this afternoon.
A 3-yard punt, and the Wasps will take over at the Apprentice 42. Everett will come out for his 3rd series. He'll have twin backs to either side on 1st and 10. Everett, late give to Montgomery. Tries to get outside. Montgomery does. 40-yard line. Outside of the 35. Stephen Montgomery with a second effort. He's got a first down to the 30-yard line. Gain of 12.
Nice effort by Montgomery there to get around the edge. You know, you don't think you can run around the edge on this Builders team because they are so fast and quick.
So is Montgomery, too.
Yeah, evidently he's quicker.
Yeah. So it's a gain down to the 30. 42 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Wasps up by 35. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the Apprentice 30. Everett gives to Jordan right up the gut. Jordan's had a big gain, adds to his total, has 8, maybe 9, down to the 21.
He adds about 9 yards onto his total already.
As we mentioned, Jordan approaching 200 yards in this one for the Wasps, who have really set the tone on the ground today. They'll have it 2nd and 2. So a gain of 8 for Jordan, 2nd and 2 from the Apprentice 22. Jordan will get it again off left tackle. Tries to get outside. Now it does. To the 20. Jordan to the 10. Jordan to the 5. Great block by Rice. He's into the end zone for the touchdown. That's the 4th touchdown today for Devontae Jordan.
Josh, there was no hole there. He made that play himself. They had clogged up the middle, and Jordan bounced outside. It didn't look like he's going to get outside, but was able to outrun 2 more. And Elijah Rice, number 4, a great block down there inside the 10-yard line that goes ahead and springs Jordan for the eventual touchdown. Wow.
Stats may put him over 200 with that one. We'll have to check that. Jones out for another PAT. 4 seconds left in the 3rd. Snotherly's hold is down. The kick is up, and it is good. And 4 seconds to go. Emory Henry well on their way to be going 2-1 on the season as they lead it now 49-7.
Well, updated stats from Joe Matthews. He has gone over. It's 20 carries for 205 yards. So he is averaging a first down every time he touches it, 10.3 yards per carry for Jordan. And so he came into the game with 258 yards rushing. So he's added another 205 to that. So now he's barking at 500 for the season. That's in 3 games.
It's not bad.
And he's our backup running back.
Well, he has led this Emory Henry rushing attack. Gary, they're approaching 300 yards. They're at 273 right now. That's almost something you'd see from W&L.
Yeah.
You know?
Newsom may give them Monday off.
I'll take Monday off, too. I can't. We'll see.
I say that he might give them Monday off because
why don't you call them and ask them?
they by NCAA rule they have Monday off.
Yeah. Why don't you call them and ask them?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Well, I asked him about the post office too.
All right. Sounds good. Jones set the kick. Jones's kick is a good one. He's had a good day, and this is going to go out of the end zone for a touchback. Pretty much you can say everyone's had a good day on special teams, and you'd be right.
Yeah.
For Emory and Henry. It has been a total reversal from what was last week here.
Well, I think they've redeemed themselves a little bit in Newsom's eyes, but I still think that this coming week there'll be no let-off on the special teams.
And one of the things that Coach Brown said, special teams win games, and it's
That's
played
right.
a big role today for Emory and Henry. It's played a big role in the field position. The Builders haven't been able to start with a whole lot of field position at all.
Well, yeah, he says that they win games, and his punter has given the Wasps outstanding field position all day long.
So with 4 seconds left in the third quarter, the Builders will start 1st and 10 from their 25. Tatum will be in the gun. 𝘽𝙪 to his left, 4 receivers. They'll move a man in motion to the right. Tatum's going to be the option pitch and nowhere to go. Spinning out of one tackle, but then going down was 𝘽𝙪. And, boy, the Wasps were all over that. Jalen Crimes was initially there. He made the initial pitch very, very early, and then it's a loss of 6, and that'll end the third quarter.
Well, and Jordan Mighty's in there right now, number 95, the junior out of Catlett, Virginia. Finished up on that play. Nice play by him.
So at the end of 3, it's Emory Henry 49, and it's Apprentice 7. We want to take this opportunity to, again, thank our underwriters for making this game possible.
Emory Henry Football is brought to you by Tumbling Creek Cider Company. They're open daily at the Spring House on 112 Court Street in Abingdon, and they're online at tumblingcreeksider.com. Also,
Snow's Fine Meats and Provisions, a neighborhood butcher shop in downtown Abingdon. Open Tuesday through Saturday and online at snowsfinemeats.com, 160 East Main Street, Abingdon.
We're also brought to you by First Bank and Trust, offering mobile banking, Apple Pay, remote deposits, and so much more. They've been serving the community with free checking since 1979. They're a member FDIC, and you can visit them on the web at firstbank.com.
And Emory Henry Football is underwritten by Food City, the food experts, locally owned and operated for more than 60 years with 130 convenient locations. Food City is proud to support Emory Henry College Football. We'll get to our other 2 underwriters here as we start the fourth quarter on 2nd and 16 from the 19. Tatum to pass. Tatum under pressure. He'll throw deep right sideline, and the pass is incomplete. Nice job by Crimes to lead 𝘽𝙪 out of bounds at the 46.
And support for Emory Henry Football comes from Greco's, proud to bring the taste of our home to yours, serving Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee with locations in Abingdon and Johnson City. You can see their menu at Gricos.com. Eat differently at Greco's.
And finally, we're brought to you by the Bank of Marion and all their hometown community branches throughout the region. The Bank of Marion, the home loan leader. And as we get set for 3rd and 16 coming up here for the Builders, as we just start the fourth quarter, and again, Emory and Henry on their way to going to 2-1 on the season. Tatum on 3rd down. They're just going to give it right up the middle, and there's nothing doing there. 𝘽𝙪 actually doing a good job of fighting forward, and he makes nothing out of something. And then there's a late hit, and we've got an Emory and Henry player who's lost a helmet. We've got another player that's down.
Well, I think but 2 of them lost their helmet. One of them got hit in the back of the head, but I think
that was Dalton Wilson shaking up there. So it's a gain of 6 for 𝘽𝙪. Brings up 3rd and 10. Wilson being attended to on the play. While we have this break in the action again, we want to, just as a reminder, the fall fundraiser is going on. Good to see Wilson get up and is okay. It's a WEHC fall fundraiser. The goal is $50,000, and the phone number for pledges is 276-582-0907, or you can go online at WEHCFM.com and make a gift. So if you enjoy hearing us on Emory and Henry Football, if you enjoy hearing Gary on Keys to the Game, show your support for WEHC. And Morgan's set to kick again. He has had a rough go of it. Morgan set to kick again. This time he gets a one in the air. Rice calls for the fair catch at about the 39-yard line. So it'll be a 36-yard punt, no return.
Yeah, Morgan averaging 22 yards a punt. That's probably his best punt of the day.
And another thing, too, a couple things more with this fundraiser. Again, you can become a day sponsor with a recorded announcement that runs 3 times a day with a minimum payment of $100. That's a great way to celebrate or remember an individual, a group that's important to you. And if you have an annual donation of $240 or more, donations of $20 or more, you have an option to get a WEHC T-shirt. Sounds like a great deal.
It does.
So the Wasps will start 1st and 10 from the 39 to give us to Jordan, who's adding on to his total as he just wriggles his way for 5 and still dives forward almost 8 yards up to the 47, maybe the 48.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jordan's going to be retired here soon in this game. He's coming out now for Montgomery, but over 200 yards rushing. The Wasps are at about 280. for the game.
Yeah, and this Emory offensive line, boy, just having a great day today. On second down and almost, actually they'll call it 2. Everett, high snap. He looks to throw over the middle on a crossing route. The pass is low to 𝘽𝙪𝙤𝙢𝙀. Pass falls incomplete.
Yeah, that play just took a little bit too much time. He doesn't have that much time to do the play action and then get the pass off. And he got taken down just as he threw the ball and ended up short.
Brings up 3rd and a long 1 for Emory at their own 48. Everett in the gun with 3 receivers. They give us to Montgomery. Montgomery off left tackle, gets away from 2 defenders, 3 defenders. Montgomery's got a first down. He's still running. Stephen Montgomery's going to the sideline. Stephen Montgomery's going to score. Holy cow, what a run by Montgomery. 52 yards, and he should have been tackled 4 times.
He was hit initially in the backfield. He made it to the sideline, and then somehow or another slipped a couple of tackles, and then races 50-some yards for the touchdown. Josh, we were talking about 300. Well, Montgomery, now let's go for 4.
52 yards on the run, and what a run by Montgomery, who avoids 2 tacklers at the line of scrimmage, stiff arms a 3rd tackler, and then outruns the cornerback down the sideline. And the Wasps having a day today.
Montgomery out of Taylorsville, North Carolina, Alexandria Central High School.
Point after kick is good for Jones, and it is all Emory and Henry all day. It is 56-7 as the Wasps, believe it or not, we're down 7-0 in this one towards the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, down 7-0, and you know, thinking about last week at that hangover effect of that bad loss they had, and you know, I credit a lot though. I mean, we've talked about who's done what and so forth, but the defense has really been lights out today. And then I think Kyle Short has just been excellent. Although his numbers, he's not got any phenomenal numbers, but I think he's been excellent as a field general out there today, making the right calls and not making very many mistakes whatsoever. And you know, eventually it just starts adding up for the Wasps.
Yeah, Montgomery, Gary, with that run up to 81 yards. Wasps have a good chance of having a 200-yard rusher and maybe a 100-yard rusher in this one. It's been a long time since Emory's had 2 over 100 like that.
It has been. And, you know, they can tell Mr. Overstreet to just relax over there. We'll take care of this.
Jones got to put his foot in ice in this one. He's back out there kicking again. It's 56-7. Another good kick. This one is going to be returned. McGurdy at the 6, bobbled it at the 10 to the 15 to the 20. Gets forward, still going. Flag comes in at the 30, and the pile, eventually they've got forward progress to the 31.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that was Thomas, I should say. Mari Thomas.
I think you're going to see a block in the back here or something on the Builders.
Yeah, anything that is sideline related there on a kick return, that's usually the call, a hold or, like you said, a block in the back.
Well, here's a good opportunity for the Wasps to get some of the.
Gary's been on these penalties today, folks. That's a correct one again. It is a legal block in the back, and for the Builders, that's the 10th penalty today.
Well, unbeknownst to you, I've been mic'd up to the officials, so I've been in on a lot of these calls.
Excellent. Yeah, and here, Gary, the Wasps wholesale substitutions up front. And, we've talked about this in games before, but, these guys have worked hard all week. They want to make some good plays out here, these second and third string players. So it's 1st and 10 for the Builders at the 20-yard line after the holding call. And the give is going to be to the back. I believe that was to Shant Banks. And Banks with a nice gain up to the 27-yard line before he's dropped by A.J. Burgess.
Yeah, Mike Mincy in on to clean that up and take him the rest of the way down. Yeah, and it's good to see these other players. They work hard out here, and they need to get some playing time. And, Josh, we've not really had a chance to talk very much about it, but these are not scholarship players. None of these that are playing are scholarship players. These are all people that volunteered to play football.
We also have a new quarterback in Grant Swanger, the freshman out of Chesapeake, has taken over for the Builders. Meanwhile, getting ripped down on the play by Banks. Banks late give on that play, but nothing doing as he's dropped on the play by Stanley Athey. Athey drops him for a 2-yard loss. Freshman out of
Glen
Allen.
That's where we'll be in about 3 weeks.
That's right. We'll be in Randolph-Macon for that one. It'll be October the 9th. Builders have it 3rd and 4 now at the 26. 12-10 to left to go in this one. It's 56-7 Emory. Swanger in the pistol on 3rd down and 4. One back to his right, that's Banks. Swanger drops back. Under pressure, rolls left. He's going to go down. He's sacked from behind by Jordan Mighty. And it'll be a loss of 2 on the play.
Jordan Mighty showing a lot of effort there and speed to track down the quarterback and sack him. It looked like he was going to get away for a little bit of a gain.
So a 3 and out. Good job by the second teamers here to come out here and force a 3 and out. And that definitely gets noticed in game film. When you see efforts like this from your guys that come into the game and make immediate dividends.
And here's Jeremiah Morgan again.
Morgan set to kick. I believe D'Angelo Gray is batting at his own 30. Morgan gets it away.
Wow.
Good kick. Fair catch is made for a nice catch by Gray coming up to get that ball at the 40-yard line. That'll be a 36-yard punt, no return.
And, Josh, we were just talking about being up in Randolph-Macon in about 3 weeks, but there's a big ODAC game with Macon at Bridgewater. It's currently in the second quarter, 17-7 Macon. And we got the Bridgewater Eagles coming in here next week.
Yeah, battle of undefeated teams there in that one. And so the Bridgewater Eagles, they came in 2-0, as did Randolph-Macon. So a lot, including us, have felt that might be the ODAC championship right there.
And Shenandoah falling 28-7 to Sydney.
Wow.
That's a surprise.
So the Wasps will start 1st and 10 from the 41. The give is going to be the running back, and I believe that's Montgomery again, who just drags a tackler up to the 46-yard line. That's a gain of 5. That's just off right tackle. There's nothing fancy on that.
No, there's not. That's just smash mouth football right there.
Nice block by Will Moss there, the sophomore out of Marion there, who's into the game. Good to see him playing time. The Wasps have got some talent, right on this offensive line. They've got a lot of guys that can go out there and play. Good job by Moss. 2nd and 5 now for the Wasps at the 46. Everett into the gun. He's got Montgomery to his left. Everett ready for the snap. High snap, does a good job of getting it down to Montgomery. Shifty, moves, bounces off a tackle, spins forward, and Montgomery has a first down to the Apprentice 44. It's a gain of 10.
You know, the yards after contact with Montgomery are pretty daggone impressive. He doesn't go down on that first lick, and he spins and got good balance, and he just makes you miss, or you just got to really hang on.
Yeah. And it's been the rushing attack all day. Jordan and now Montgomery. 1st and 10 Wasps now at the Apprentice 44. Averett in the gun. He'll have Montgomery to his left, 3 receivers, and Averett letting some of that clock run down here. He's got the play clock at 7. He gives us to Montgomery, bowls forward and just runs over a man, gets inside the 40, down to the 39, a gain of 5. Follows the blocking of Brody Fields on that one.
And, Stephen Montgomery's a freshman, 5'6", 185 pounds. He's a little bit like that running back we faced last week out of Bluefield, the Rams.
And Montgomery approaching 100 yards in this one as well. 2nd and 5 for the Wasps at the Apprentice 39. 9:15 left in this one. It's been all Emory and Henry since about the second quarter. 56-7. Averett in the gun. He'll have one back to his right. That's Micah English. And English is going to get the handoff. English comes into the game. Micah English still going, and he's got a first down inside the 30 to the 29. It doesn't matter who's coming out there. They're getting gains of 5 and 10.
Well, all 3 of these backs that we've seen now, yardage after the initial contact has been what's really, been their forte. Montgomery's just unbelievable how many times he gets hit, but Devontae Jordan, just can't say enough about the effort he's had today and what he's done. Yeah,
English, the junior out of Stanton River High School. That's home of Overstreet and Tester as well. So English, boy, he made his first carry of the game known. Nice gain there on first down. We do have an injured Apprentice player at the 35-yard line. The clock is stopped with 8:54 left in this one. And again, while we have a break in the action, again, we want to remind you about the WEHC Fall Fundraiser. Your support helps keep WEHC on the air by providing engineering support, programming costs, licensing fees, and streaming fees and power bills, among other expenses.
Well, and you know what else it helps keep on the air is Emory Henry Football.
Absolutely.
And so if you like listening to these broadcasts, then please consider a donation to Emory Henry's WEHC.
WEHCFM.com, select Make a Gift, or you can call 276-582-0907. Will Sauter was the defensive back shaken up for the Builders. He is off on his own power and seems to be okay. So after the run for English, it's 1st and 10 for the Wasps now at the Builders' 28. And Everett will be in the gun. He'll have one back to his left. 3 receivers on 1st and 10. The give up the middle is English. English just fighting forward, just falls forward. And he'll get down to about the 25, 24-yard line, a gain of 4.
Gain of 4, and it brings the Wasps to about 370 yards of rushing today. And we haven't seen that since, I think, Overstreet broke the record, in 2019?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Well over 500 yards on the day, total offense. 2nd down and 6 for the Wasps at the Apprentice 24-yard line. And Everett letting some clock run down here as it's 7:42 and counting. Everett, the give is to English right up the middle. English hops forward to the 20.
Oh.
Still going, and he's got a 1st down. English down to the 17, a gain of 7. Could the Wasps get 400 on the ground? It's not out of the question right now.
No, it's not. They're less than 30 yards away.
And this is, like I said, these are running numbers that you see out of W&L, because of their option style play. You don't see it out of the other teams in the league, but good to see that out of Emory Henry today. Running the ball at will and knowing that it's going to be a running play from here on out for the most part.
Yeah, they're not going to put in the air very much.
1st and 10 Wasps now at the Builders' 16. 3 receivers for Everett. Again, it's English on the carry. English off tackle. English to the 10. English to the 5. And he's almost into the end zone. He's down to the 3. Gain of 13 brings up 1st and goal for Emory and Henry.
Again, yards after the initial contact. These running backs, it's gotten to be a pattern with them today.
So it'll be 1st and goal Wasps. Actually, they'll say the knee was down at about the 4. So with 6:36 left in this one, the Wasps trying to score again. They'll have 3 receivers in the formation. And again, it'll be Everett, this time in the pistol. And the deep back is English. And English has come into the game and taken up right where Jordan and Montgomery left off. English gets it again, dives forward, 2nd effort. He's down to the 1. Gain of 4. He was almost into the end zone. He's
2nd
close.
effort. He lowered that shoulder and drove to almost to the end zone. But English, another one of those running backs that really runs well behind his pads. He can take that first initial lick or two and then keep on churning his legs for extra yards.
2nd and goal for Emory and Henry. Ball is rested at the 1-yard line. It'll be Everett in the gun, and he'll have English to his right. 5:40 left in this one. The give is to English. English is hit off tackle. 2nd effort. He spins into the end zone for the touchdown. Great job by English. He was hit by 2 defenders, and he spins into the end zone. Another score for Emory and Henry, and they've got 62 now on the board. 62-7.
English got hit behind the line of scrimmage and did that little spin move and reached the ball over the end zone to make it 62, and also to bring the rushing totals within 7 yards of 400.
Jones out for another PAT. Snotherly to hold. Snap is down. Kick on the way is up. And the kick is good. Emory and Henry, 63. Apprentice, 7.
Wow.
The way this game started, Gary, you didn't think you'd have 63 on the board if you're an Emory and Henry fan. The way this game started, it seemed like this was going to be an interesting contest as far as, defensive purposes, and especially after Apprentice took the defensive interception in for a touchdown, that seems like it was ages ago.
Oh, yeah. It was going to be one of those here we go again, because the offense didn't look sharp at all at the beginning of the game.
No.
But I tell you what, Devontae Jordan just has kind of said, well, I'll take the matters into my own hands, and then he handed it off to Montgomery, and and then English, and all three running backs have run really well today. 7 yards shy of the 400 mark.
And was searching a little bit to see, couldn't find it, but it's interesting to see what the record is for Emory Henry rushing attack. Couldn't see that on the archives, but you got to feel like they're not too terribly far away from that at being at 393.
Yeah.
Jones set to kick. 63-7, Emory Henry.
Well, and
Gertie will take, it's Harris will take it at the 10, the 15 to the 20, and he's down at about the 26-yard line. Mark Damian Cooper on the stop for Emory and Henry.
Well, another thing that pops out at you too, Josh, is that of the 24 first downs by the Wasps, 17 of them are rushing. I don't know when that's happened again. I mean, that's a huge number for Emory.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's a huge number for anybody. Yeah,
well, it is.
Yeah.
And this is an RPO offense. This is not the wishbone or the flex bone or whatever. This is not a running offense.
No. A solid effort today for the Wasps after just a harrowing loss 1 week ago. Swanger will be in the gun on 1st and 10 from the 25. Swanger will roll left, and he's just going to go down. He didn't even have time to turn around. A.J. Burgess in the backfield. It'll be a loss of 6.
A.J.'s a freshman out of Roxborough, North Carolina.
Looked really good on that play. I tell you,
did.
Pick a number today for Emory and Henry at a position, and you could name off 10, 15 players who have had great games. I know they'll be happy to see their plays in game film this week.
Yeah, it'll be a lot easier to watch this than it was last Sunday.
2nd and 16 now for the Builders back at the 19. It'll be Swanger in the gun. He'll throw. 3-step drop, throws high to the receiver. He was looking for Gertie, who was well covered at the 23. Coverage out there was by Gannon and also Jalen Watson. So a lot of freshmen getting their first minutes today for Emory and Henry in this contest.
Yeah, Jordan Ledford enters the game, number 51. He's a sophomore out of Athens, Tennessee.
And meanwhile, the Builders face 3rd and 16 with 4:46 left in this one. 63-7, Emory and Henry leads it. Swanger will be in the gun on 3rd and 16. He'll have 4 receivers in this formation. Emory with 4 down linemen. Swanger, pump fake. He's just going to take off and run with it. Has 5, and then he's actually didn't even get past the line of scrimmage as he's tackled by Nate Hamilton. And we've got a stoppage of play.
Yeah, Swanger lost his helmet there, but it is 4th down. The Builders are going to punt. But, Josh, if I told you that we held the ball for 30 minutes and it was a 63-7 game, I don't think many people would believe that.
No, not at the time of possession there and that the Wasps have had today. They have been efficient. They've struck early. They've struck often in this one. And really, since the halftime, it's been all Emory and Henry. Good kick by Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
Gray's going to take it at the 32, makes one man miss. Gray gets looking for blocks. Gray to the midfield. Devontae Gray's still going to the 30. He's almost broke it. Down to the 29-yard line. D'Angelo Gray was a tackle away from the end zone. Great return there of 35 yards.
Wow. Gray, lightning quick there on a couple of moves, and he set up some good blocks.
The Wasps in business at the 29. Sorry, Gary.
Yeah, I know Ty easily getting a great block for him, but Gray setting that block up. Gray just motoring down there. I thought he was going to break it.
He was almost there. And so the Wasps take over at the Builders 29. They've been in Builder territory most of the game. It just seems like it. 3 receivers for Everett. and he'll have English to his left with 4:02 left. The give is to English right up the gut. English dives forward. He gets it down to about the 26.
I think the builders may think that this is a 50-yard field.
Yeah, it seems
like we've only played in 50 yards of it.
Amazingly, the offense for Apprentice has run 3 more plays than Emory and Henry.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's like how could it be 63-7?
The Wasps have been awfully efficient on their offense. It's a gain of 3 for English, brings up 2nd and 7 for the Wasps at the Apprentice 26. And Everett will be in the gun with 3 receivers. Letting that play clock run down to about 5. Now he's ready for the snap. The give is to English. He'll try off left tackle. English gets outside of the 25. Here comes a flag. This is going to be a hold against Emory and Henry. And English has a first down, but this is going to come back.
Yeah, and another helmet loss there. You know, we're talking about D'Angelo Gray. He's a freshman, wide receiver. Seems like we like these 5'7", 145-pound wide receivers because we've got a bunch of them. But he's out of South Chesterfield, Virginia, at Thomas Dale High School. Those are some good programs out there.
It's going to be an illegal block against Emory and Henry. And the Wasps have slowed down their penalties today. They're still got a lot in this one. Most of those came in the first half in this one when it was a much closer game.
Yeah, we're approaching 200 yards of penalties overall.
So the hold will back the football to the 36 of Apprentice, brings up 2nd down and about 17. Everett in the gun. He'll have English to his left. The give is to English. Stutter step, dives forward, rolls forward, gets it down to the 33-yard line. That'll be a gain of 3. And we approach 2.5 left in this one, and the Wasps, as we mentioned, on their way to 2-1, and got an interesting game, Gary, next week against the Eagles of Bridgewater. That'll be here next Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, Bridgewater, one of the favorites in the ODAC, and certainly, as you and I both well know, they have handled the Wasps pretty easy the last couple of years. In fact, I'd say that they've beaten the Wasps as handily as anybody throughout. Yeah,
very methodical wins for the Eagles last few years. Should be interesting here next Saturday. 3rd and 14 for the Wasps from the 34. The give is to English. English stutter step, dives forward to the 30-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 3. And with that run, I believe the Wasps may be over 400. They're awfully close.
They are 399.
So 4th and 11 coming up from Emory. 1:44 left in this one.
I think they'll stay out there, maybe take a timeout and then punt it, or they may actually just go ahead and run the ball.
Yeah, they left the offense out here on 4th and 11 with 1:30 left, and Everett doing the right thing here, letting the time run down on the play clock. 4th and 11 for the Wasps from the Apprentice 30.
Well,
Everett, the give is to English. Off left tackle. English dives forward, runs into his own man, gets about 1 yard, and on downs, the Wasps will turn it over to Apprentice with 1:15 left.
Well, and that running play, or probably the last offensive play for the Wasps, actually does put them at 402.
Wow.
On yards rushing.
402. And it's been put your running back out there. It doesn't matter who it's been. It's been productive all day long for this Emory and Henry defense or offensive group, and the line certainly a lot to do with that. So Swanger will bring the Builders out 1st and 10 from the 28. The give will be to the back Banks, and Banks is dropped in the backfield for a loss. Trevor Dowdell with a stop for the Wasps. It's a loss of 1.
You know, and if you're a defensive coordinator, you come off of last week's game, you hold your opponent to 10 yards rushing, and today you get 400 tacked on to you. You got to be scratching your head. What did I do wrong this week?
Yeah, and it's just, I think, for the Wasps, while they've gotten to this point, it's been, the defense, has set the tone. It's been very strong special teams for Emory and Henry, inopportune special teams for this Apprentice group, and then very efficiency running the football for the Wasps. 2nd and 11, the give is going to be to Banks again. Banks dives forward off left tackle, gets up to the 32. It'll be a gain of about 3, maybe 4. And we're at 19 seconds left, and the Builders don't have to run another play, and they will not.
They don't want to.
Well, the Wasps, the Emory defense does not give up a touchdown all day long. It was the only score of the game for Apprentice came on the defense. And then after Apprentice scored the first 7 points, the Wasps come back with 63, and they win this one in a romp. They win it 63-7. Wasps go to 2-1 on the season, and my goodness, just so many people that you could bring up as far as influential today in this one. But you almost got to get a team award to everybody today. I mean, it was just a total team effort, running the football, quarterback, the defense, even special teams. I mean, this is what you want to box up and let out every game.
Well, I think Newsome's little speech about, you're going to look in the mirror, you're going to look out the window, and what are you going to fix? And you're going to fix yourself. And certainly the Wasps fixed themselves here today at the 63-7 victory. And you could point to so many people. Devontae Jordan probably number one, but that defense, played lights out all day long, even though they played the majority of the game.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. 33 minutes and 40 seconds the defense was out there, and you don't give up any points.
No, they didn't give up any. The closest that the Builders had were 2 field goal attempts. They did not. I think they may have gotten into the red zone one time in this game. And then the 2 field goals, one was missed left and the other one was blocked. That was as close as they came to an offensive touchdown. And it's how apropos that the last man in the handshake line is Brent Butler, and he's carrying the turnover belt.
Did he keep the turnover belt?
Yeah, he's still got it. So, but it is. I mean, you could give tons of belts today to this group of Wasps. Good to see them bounce back after last week. And boy, for the first 5-6 minutes of this game, Gary, it almost seemed like it was a little bit of Bluefield hangover.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a hangover, and you get that creeping feeling of, oh no, not again. This was not that bad. This is not that bad of a football team. We talked about it at the top of the hour, or top of the show, that, thank you, sir, that they were going to have to get up off the deck and play football, because this is not your run-of-the-mill Apprentice team, and it certainly is not. But the Wasps' outstanding performance today in so many different areas that were glaringly not there last week.
No, I think the biggest area that's been improved, and we've said it, and we have to say it again, has been special teams. The Wasps, everything from coverage on kickoffs to nearly getting punt blocks, to affecting punts, to blocking field goals, to getting good returns. I mean, success begets success almost, and it just seemed like they fed off of each other.
Yeah, they did. I think you're absolutely right. And, the defense just came out and just really hammered this Apprentice bunch. And then the offense, it's like, well, you guys are going to do that. We'll do our part too. But I give a lot of that credit to the quarterback, the play calling, and then the effort by Devontae Jordan. And the offensive line is so much better than it was last year or two. I mean, and Coach Newsome gives credit for two things for that. Number one is, when we talked about him earlier, Mike Gentry, the strength and conditioning coach who is in the Hall of Fame, has worked with this offensive line. And then we've got Josh Wellenhofer back, and Newsome couldn't be happier about that. And so I think you put those two things together, put some good running backs back there, English, Montgomery, Jordan. That's a recipe for success.
Yeah, 214 yards on 21 carries and 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's a great recipe. But my gosh, when Jordan comes out, here comes Stephen Montgomery, right? yeah. Montgomery
9 rushes for 101 yards. So there you go. There's 2 running backs over the century mark, and then Micah English 10 carries for 50 yards. So just golly, the rushing game, 402 yards is something that you really, I mean, that just makes you feel so good about your offensive football team.
Yeah, I think the way English was going, if it was another 4 or 5 minutes, he might have over 100. I mean, the way he was running the football too. But and you know that's you know when you've got a rushing attack like that, and you know we've seen it. We've been on the other end of that so many times against the WNL, where you know you just can't get off the field. You know they're just normally they're chewing up time of possession, not in this one, as you've talked about already. But it is it's one of those things where when you're rushing the ball, you know, whether it's 200 and I mean 404 today, I mean it really negates what that other team can do. It just really took them out of their running attack. They weren't able to run the football. 43 yards. I mean, and when you take a big part of away from that team, you can pretty much know what's going to happen. And that's what this defense is doing.
Yeah, and as far as the rushing attack for the Wasps and the defense for the Builders, you know, they started backing off. If you looked at the game against Bavard, they were up on the line of scrimmage in bare fronts and at 8-man fronts, and they were aggressive. But Emory started slicing them up with Jordan, and they backed those linebackers out, you know, because of the offensive line trapping them inside. And then it just seemed like it just got worse, you know.
Yeah, it definitely did. And, you know, certainly you're pleased beyond get out to see the Wasps go 6 of 13 on third down. They're going to need that next week. You know, they're going to have to be in that 40 to 50% range.
Boy, are
next week.
They sure are, because Bridgewater, I don't know what they're doing right now up in Randolph-Macon, but they were down 17-7 in the second quarter. But now they've got a good football team, and we've not been able to do much with them for about 3 years now. It's been ongoing domination by the Eagles.
It's a 24-7 Macon lead at the end of 3. So unless the Eagles rally, it looks like they'll come into Emory Henry next Saturday at 2-1.
Well, and you don't, you know, if you're down 24-7 against Macon late, you're not going to get the ball very many more times, enough times to overcome a score like that. So probably the Eagles come in here 2-1. You know, like I say, they've had Emory's number for the last 2 or 3 years up there, and down here. It didn't matter where they played, and so this is a good win. Now I think Newsome's got the opposite problem. You know, he comes, how do I get these guys back focused after that devastating loss? And now we win 63-7. How do I get their feet on the ground? And you got to play football.
Yeah, and that'll be so crucial, because right after the Bridgewater game comes the Emory bye week. And, you know, you want to go into that bye week. You want to go in with momentum, because right after the bye week, you've got Randolph-Macon.
Yeah.
And so it's probably arguably, and certainly there are other teams on the schedule, but arguably the next 2 games for Emory and Henry is going to say a lot about the rest of the season.
It sure is. And, you know, Newsome told me earlier in the week, one of the things about football is you don't play a game every other day like you do in baseball or basketball. And so a loss hangs with you for 7 days, and you got that bad taste in your mouth. You wake up every morning, and it hits you right between the eyes, and you don't get over it until you have another game, and you need it. Certainly this one will help get over it. So you don't want to play Bridgewater, suffer a defeat, and go 2 weeks with that bad taste in your mouth, and then go to Randolph-Macon.
Yeah, I think, you know, on the flip side, if the Wasps hold Bridgewater to a combined 1 of 16 on third and fourth down, I got to like my chances next week.
Yeah, what is that, 7-8%? That's terrible. And if I did not see the game, I would say there's no way in the world you could have held the ball 33 minutes when you made 1 of 16 on your third downs. You just can't do it. The numbers don't work.
No, they don't. And we talked about Jordan having 4 touchdowns. Montgomery had a touchdown. English had a touchdown. Rice scored. Short had a touchdown. Gunnar Griffith scored. I mean, you know, when you're looking at film, you know, the Eagles are going to be looking at this game. They're going to be looking at other games. They've got to see, you know, Wasps have got 7 or 8 guys that, you know, that could score at any time. And today was no exception. One of the things that jumps out, too, in a game like this when it's 63-7, normally you'd see like, oh, you're 5 of 6 in the red zone or you're 7 of 8 in the red zone. Wasps only were 2 of 2 because most of their plays are outside of 20 yards.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was big plays the whole game. It wasn't this methodical down the field. It was just big play after big play, and that explains the possession time more than anything.
Yeah, it does, and the short field they had, and you know, cause you go down and look through the scoring, they score, you know, in 51 seconds, they score in a minute and 6 seconds, they score in a minute and 16 seconds, so they didn't need the ball very long, and when you score that quickly, it usually is a big play. You're not operating within the 20-yard line or the red zone, so yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Well, both these teams will be in ODAC competition next week. We talked about the Wasps being here at home for their kickoff 1 o'clock against Bridgewater. The Builders will be on the road as well next week. They will go to Ferrum. They'll take on the Panthers of Ferrum College, and as we mentioned, you know, the bulk of the schedule for the rest of the year is going to be very similar between these two teams because most of the opponents, actually all of the opponents, I think, the rest of the way for the Builders will be in the ODAC. So they'll kind of be going at ODAC but at different points. And so, you know, certainly it'll be interesting to see. We talk about Emory's response. It'll be interesting to see how you go from a Brevard win of that magnitude to getting, you know, shellacked here and then getting back on the road to going to Ferrum. So that'll be an interesting transition across the way too.
And they've got to be getting a little road weary. I mean, this is a long trip. The one last week was even longer. Mm-hmm. I guess Ferrum will be a little bit shorter for them, but you got to get road weary after a while. Those are 6, 7, 8 hour bus rides, and you know, I talked with them earlier. They said they broke it up. They stopped in Charlottesville, did a little work there, pregame work there, and then they stopped in Roanoke to get something to eat, and then they came on down, spent the night here. So they tried to space it out, but now they got to get back on that bus now. It'll be 8 hours to Newport News. But, you know, Josh, just quickly, to jump over.
Sure.
We never do really get a chance to talk much about the South Atlantic Conference, but they started conference play today, and Catawba's 17-10 win over Barton. They're undefeated, 3-0. I think they were 1-9 last year.
I think so, yeah.
They've been down for a while. But here's, to me, a shocker. Mars Hill, 44, UVA-wise 9.
Yeah, that's surprising. And Mars Hill has struggled like Catawba has the last few years. So that's an eye-opener on the schedule. Definitely, when you see that score and you're thinking, what's going on in Mars Hill and what's going on in Wise? I mean, that's a little surprising.
And Wingate over in third quarter, 19-3 over Carson Newman. Carson Newman was picked in the top 25 in the nation in preseason polls, but they're in danger of going to 1-2, I believe. Yeah,
1-2, and you know, some pretty difficult losses. They're not used to losing in Jefferson City. I mean, that's a place where, you know, it's like Emory. Fans expect to win, you know, at home.
Yeah, they do. The Mossy Creek boys don't lose very much. And 2 more games later on today. Limestone at Tusculum at 3. Lenore Ryan at Newberry. Lenore Ryan still ranked 7th in the country. They're 1-0. They had an off week last week, but they're down in Newberry, South Carolina tonight for a contest. And so anyway, that's some of our opponents, some of the things that they're doing.
Yeah, it's sort of Emory and Henry is sort of like straddling both conferences, because you need to know, as listeners, you need to know who's coming up, because these are going to be opponents that the Wasps are going to take on next year. And certainly, you know, it's kind of a get-to-know basis. And then we also bring in the ODAC because there are going to be some teams that the Wasps face later in the season. Gary, you mentioned this. Hampton-Sydney gets their first win. They win 28-7 over Shenandoah. W&L is blowing out Guilford 56-7. It's going to be another long year for the Quakers. And we followed this game today. You know, Randolph-Macon leading 24-7 against the Eagles, who will be here next week. So a lot of things starting to pan out at this point.
You know, Shenandoah comes into that contest 2-0. Sydney's 0-2. I thought Shenandoah would probably win that one, but
Farmville, you just throw the records out.
Yeah,
when that happens. Yeah, But we'll have the Eagles here next week. I'm looking forward to it. That's always it's always a creative game when you play the Eagles. And, of course, a familiar face won't be on the sidelines. Coach Mike Clark retired at the end of the spring season. But, boy, they've got a capable staff that can come in here, and the Wasps are going to need all week to get ready for that one.
Well, you've run a good program when you name your successor.
Yes.
That's how much you're respected and thought of, that you take all the guesswork out of it. We're going to give it my successor is this guy right here. And he takes it and they start winning, continue to win, not start.
Absolutely. And we'll have that game here a week from Saturday. We'll be back here at 1 o'clock, and the pregame show will be here at 12:30. Well, again, we want to thank all of of course, we've thanked our underwriters throughout. We're going to make one more plug for the WEHC Fall Fundraiser. Again, pledges are 276-582-0907 or online at WEHCFM.com and select Make a Gift. And if you enjoy listening to Emory and Henry football, what better way to show your allegiance and support than to support a great radio station? And, hey, we've got other great programs as well. Bill McKee, who's on the board, has he has a great show on as well, I believe, later this evening. So it's very much a delight and a treat to have this option for Southwest Virginia. And so we hope that you all will pledge your support for WEHC.
Well, and also, you talk about great programming. We do, and most of that programming, Josh, is donated by some of our very fine people in the area, and I know a lot of you enjoy it. So if you do so, how about reaching into that checkbook and making a donation? We've got Ivy Shepard, our new station manager. She's very talented, got her own very good show herself. So a lot of great programming to listen to on WEHC.
And hope you'll listen to us a week from Saturday, as we'll be back here at home. The last home game here for a little bit, as the Wasps will take on the Bridgewater College Eagles. Again, we want to thank multiple individuals for our broadcast. We want to thank Ivy Shepard, the general manager for WEHC, Bill McKee on the board. Operator, as always, David St. Clair for the halftime show, Joe Matthews, the sports information director for E&H. And I want to thank Christopher Sawyer, the sports information with the Apprentice School, and Vincent Brown, the head football coach with the Apprentice School. I want to thank Gary, of course, for all his work on the broadcast. We want to thank you for taking time out of your Saturday afternoon to tuning into this broadcast of Emory Henry College Football and all of our broadcasts. We appreciate it. As we mentioned, the Wasps will conclude their 3-game home stretch next Saturday at 1 o'clock as the Blue and Gold jump into ODAC competition for the rest of the way. They start with the visiting Eagles from Bridgewater College. We'll have our traditional 12:30 pregame show with the kick at 1 between the Eagles and the Wasps. Eagles and the Wasps next Saturday, pregame at 12:30 and the kick at 1. For Gary Lester, I'm Josh Floyd saying so long from Fred Self Athletic Stadium's Nice Wander Field here on the campus of Emory Henry College. The final score from today, it's Emory Henry 63, Apprentice School 7. Also, we want to put a big plug as well. Keys to the game will take place on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock and rebroadcast on Saturday at noon. So join Gary Lester, Coach Kurt Newsom for that. Final score from today, it's Emory Henry 63, the Apprentice School 7. We'll talk to you next Saturday from Emory. Have a great week. So long, everybody.